how the person died or why that person was in the building. President Trump and French President Macron are criticizing Turkey, which is part of NATO, but has taken actions that have angered members of the alliance. Trump said today that he had a great relationship with Turkey, although he said that the U.S. was considering imposing sanctions on Ankara for buying a Russian-made missile defense system. Macron says it's not possible for Turkey to be a member of the NATO alliance when it buys Russia's S-400 missile system. With a check on our weather, here's News 3's Kelly Curran.
We're looking at cloudy skies across the area today. Seasonable temperatures topping out in the upper 50s, and winds today will be light out of the northeast. Overnight tonight, though, chances for showers and mountain snow with a low 47. Keep listening for more updates throughout the day from News 3, your weather authority.
Cloudy, 45 degrees. I'm John Schaefer on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, Las Vegas' only FM news talk station. Here's John Michaels with the latest on the roads in the KDON Traffic Center.
This report sponsored by Doctor-Patient Unity. I-15 northbound still closed at Sahara. The backup is still solid from the 215 Southern Beltway. Avoid I-15 northbound in that stretch. And then 95 in the East Valley, delays are still heavy from Boulder Highway, rounding the Charleston curve up to the Spaghetti Bowl. Slow and go on the Summerlin Parkway, eastbound on Nasazi to Rampart. As surprise medical bills bankrupt Americans, Jackie Rosen stands with doctors to remove patients from billing disputes. She demands insurance companies pay their fair share and opposing their rate-setting proposal to cover less medical care. Tell Jackie Rosen thank you and keep fighting. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
This holiday season, get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Marie Mortera. We want to thank you for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
You can count on us to have the big story of the day.
Plus breaking news that matters to you.
News 3 live at 11 with Jim Snyder and Marie Mortera, leading the way in Las Vegas.
This is Harry Jacobs from Credit Restoration of Nevada, inviting you to join me for the Credit Show, Saturday mornings between 9 and 10, here on the new 101.5 FM and 720 AM, KDON.
Each year when the holidays hit, something comes over me like I ought to give. Well, it's the holidays, and I got that feeling now. Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress. At our Best Mattress holiday sale, my gift to you is to sleep, perchance to dream. That's a little Shakespeare for you, kids. Nice, huh? Plus, I'll throw in a $300 gift with a purchase of any Tempur-Pedic mattress and get 72 months no-interest financing and free delivery. Best Mattress. Sleep easy, friends.
My name is Sam Murjovsky, long last name. I am a personal injury lawyer.
I'm Ashley Watkins, the Ash of Sam and Ash.
Sam and Ash, your personal injury attorneys. Find them at samandash.com.
What's most important to me and to Ashley is managing the kind of practice that puts the client's case first. We're driving that case in order to get value, in order to get the client better, and in order to make sure the client isn't frustrated at all.
There's nothing like showing up at work every day and knowing you're making a difference in someone's life. You're helping them get through something that they never anticipated happening to them, but they're still hurt. They still need help, and they still need to get from hurt and injured to back to where they were before that accident. And we get to do that day to day. I just love helping people.
Find out more at samandash.com or call 1-800-304-2000. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
It is very important for us to always get to what the root of whatever is wrong.
You need an attorney that's focused on helping you get to the end and recovery that you deserve.
This is Lorraine Hunt Bono, inviting you to tune in for Breaking Bread with Bono. Join my husband, Dennis Bono, as celebrities share with him their intimate and humorous stories. Saturdays, 5 to 6 p.m., right here on KDON.
720 on the AM, 101.5 FM.
Yeah, now on FM.
The only FM news talk station in Las Vegas, KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Good morning, Las Vegas. Happy Tuesday. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you can join us. Oh, yeah, loaded show jammed up for you today. Joining us in hour number 2, it'll be attorney Michael Avenatti. Oh, yeah, we got a lot to get to with him. These NATO meetings, we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Newly released Mueller investigation notes. Boy, this Lisa Page story, she's speaking up now. Remember this FBI lawyer that was doing this little sexting with her FBI friend? Then it became public and her life was destroyed for it. Well, Donald Trump isn't helping the matter. We'll get to that coming up in hour number 2. These conspiracy theories that Ukraine had something to do with the 2016 elections. I'll tell you, Republicans should be embarrassed that there are people that represent you, Republicans, that are just making up conspiracy theories, and there's only one person that started this. Well, actually, two people, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. And now it is being echoed by some Republicans who are ass kissers. It is unbelievable. We'll get to that coming up in a little bit. How about Joe Biden's No Malarkey tour? A lot of people are making fun of him for that. We'll get to that coming up in a little bit as well. And, of course, Phase 2 starts tomorrow in the impeachment inquiry proceedings. So we'll be talking about that coming up here in just a little bit as well. Also, back-to-back school shootings within a 24-hour period in Wisconsin in the school system there. I guess you could say they both had a happy ending, so to speak. And we'll explain what that means coming up here at the bottom of the hour. I've had a chance to watch the Terry Fator show. And if you don't know who Terry Fator is, he's magnificent. He's very talented. He is a ventriloquist extraordinaire. Well, he had this Donald Trump puppet in his act, and apparently, allegedly, management told him to stop, and he did. And now it's kind of a backtrack on what exactly transpired there. It's very interesting. So we'll get to this coming up in just a few minutes as well. Also, can you believe that Holocaust ornaments have been sold on Amazon? And for a brief period of time, it was allowed. That's right. We'll get to that coming up, too. As I said, we have a loaded show. And this NFL player, Josh Shaw, we're learning more information on exactly where he placed those bets on his own NFL games. Guess what? I'll give you a hint. It happened somewhere in Las Vegas. He walked up to a teller, an NFL player, an active NFL player, and made wagers on his own team. But I'll tell you why I actually believe now that more evidence has come out that the NFL did act appropriately. And I was going after the NFL yesterday, but as we learn more information about this, I think the NFL did act appropriately. It has something to do with whether he won his bet or not. I'll explain coming up in hour number 3. So as I said, a lot to get to. Michael Avenatti coming up in hour number 2, but certainly I want to start with these NATO meetings. And I'll tell you right now, President Donald Trump has been clashing all morning with Macron, the French president. You know, the president has been tangled with the French president. This has been a tense exchange, and it's happening in front of reporters in London. It did happen this morning. Trump asked Macron if he'd like to take back some nice ISIS fighters. Some of this audio is unbelievable. We're going to go through each and every one of it. Let's start there. This is President Trump and the French president at the NATO meeting clashing on the ISIS threat in Syria.
We have a tremendous amount of captured fighters, ISIS fighters, over in Syria, and they're all under lock and key. But many are from France, many are from Germany, many are from UK. They're mostly from Europe, and some of the countries are agreeing. I have not spoken to the president about that. Would you like some nice ISIS fighters? Here, I can give them to you. You can take everyone you want. Let's be serious.
Now, you have the French president telling Donald Trump, let's be serious. President Trump is making a joke. I mean, it's absolute buffoonery at its best. This is what President Trump does. We're talking about an extremely serious issue here in regards to these ISIS fighters. And then you have the president of France urging Trump to be serious, making jokes about terrorists and ISIS fighters that to this day are killing innocent people. There's nothing funny about that. And then Trump responded by saying this is why he's a great politician, because that's one of the greatest non-answers I've ever heard. They went at it all morning, really. This is the president of France, you know, giving a minute response to which Trump responds. This is Trump's response to it.
This is why he's a great politician, because that was one of the greatest non-answers I've ever heard. And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's what I was just speaking to. And you know, that's a typical Trump response to that. Trump also saying that nobody needs NATO more than France? Here it is.
I would say that nobody needs NATO more than France. You just look back over the last long period of time. Nobody needs NATO more than France. And frankly, the one that benefits really the least is the United States. We benefit the least. We're helping Europe. Europe unites and they go against a common foe. That may or may not be a foe. Can't tell you that.
He also said that it's a very tough statement to make when you have such difficulty in France. When you look at what is going on, Trump also continued, they have had a very rough year. You just can't go around making statements like that about NATO. It is very disrespectful. That we are currently experiencing is what we are currently experiencing is the brain death of NATO, said Macron. Now, he told the magazine in the wake of the United States' decision to withdraw troops from the northeast Syria. The French president also said that it said that the U.S. appears to be turning its back on us. Well, it does. And that's why there are so many Democrats and Republicans that were against President Trump's decision to withdraw troops from Syria. There's not many people to this day that agree with the president and his stance on that and what he did. So this is probably not good for France. It's probably not good for the United States. Clearly, the relationship between Macron and Trump has changed, particularly over the course of the last several months. This was a very, very, very testy exchange this morning. Does not appear it's good for anybody. So, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know. But I can tell you this. President Trump always brags about his relationships with presidents overseas. He seems to talk a lot about Vladimir Putin, an evil, murderous dictator. He seems to talk a lot about Kim Jong-un, another evil, murderous dictator. What about our allies? What about people that are supposed to be helping us? That does not appear to be the case in this situation. JD, what do you make of all this?
Well, it looks like Donald Trump is just getting into a nice political argument with a not so much a rival, more of an ally. I don't really understand what his angle is here. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I mean, it's not like they're kind of an ally.
No, I mean,
they are an ally.
Clearly, but he's not treating them like they're an ally. He's treating them like they're kind of an ally.
Well, when you make jokes about ISIS and you say, would you like some ISIS fighters? I have many ISIS fighters for you. It's an embarrassing statement. Once again, it embarrasses the country.
Well, it's definitely not standard for a United States president. The way that he operates, again, is very, very unique. He is not a formal president, and the way he communicates with anybody. And this is just more of
that's not the word I would use.
More of a continuation of that. You would say disrespectful. I would just say informal.
I wouldn't say unique. You use the term unique. There's nothing unique about embarrassing yourself on a world stage.
The way that he communicates, he jokes around. The way that he says things. No president in history has done that in the United States.
And no president should.
Obviously.
And no president should. There's a reason for that.
And that's your opinion.
You think it's okay for the president of the United States to joke around about giving an ally ISIS fighters. You think it's okay to get up there on a world stage and pretty much come up with conspiracy theories. And by the way, it didn't end there. He also attacked Adam Schiff while sitting next to the Canadian leader. This is what he said. This is what he said about Adam Schiff, a politician in this country, sitting next to another leader. He said, I think he's a maniac. I think Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. I think he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. Now, let me respond to that and first say, if there's anybody that is the most insecure world leader, it is Donald Trump.
Now,
he is the most thin-skinned human being in the history of the world.
I'm not arguing that. He is much more insecure than he should be. He doesn't seem to realize that he won the election. But now that being said, he has been attacked by the media since the first day. Now, what do you think that Adam Schiff would say about Donald Trump to that same Canadian?
I believe that if Adam Schiff was the president of the United States on a world stage with another world leader sitting next to him, Adam Schiff would not go after another politician because I think he has too much, I guess you could say, I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Well, see, I believe, and now, but you're saying that it's okay now for Adam Schiff to do what he's doing because he's not the president of the United States.
Has Adam Schiff sat next to a world leader and attacked another politician?
He is still a very, very influential congressperson.
So I'm asking you a question.
And he can cause the president of the United States a lot of problems.
So I'm asking you a question. You're not answering.
Why you hold Donald Trump to such a high standard, but everybody else in Congress isn't held to the same standard. I don't understand why. I understand Donald Trump is the president of the United States, but people in Congress can make his life a living hell, and they're trying to do so. And so why are they not held to the same standard that Trump is held to, Brian?
Okay, I'll answer everything that
Okay.
you just said.
Okay,
First
good.
of all, Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
Right,
and
I get that.
Let me finish. Donald Trump was the one sitting on a world stage with other world leaders. Last I checked, Adam Schiff has not done that. But I will ask you this question then, since you're trying to make the correlation. What has Adam Schiff said personally in that context about Donald Trump that you can quote me right now that that what he just said next to the leader of France? What has Adam Schiff said? Let me repeat what Donald Trump just said. NATO this morning with the leader of France. He called Adam Schiff a maniac. He said Schiff is a deranged human being. He also said he thinks that he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. Has Adam Schiff said anything like that about Donald Trump? Now, he's talked about the impeachment inquiry. He's talked about how Donald Trump might have broken the law and it might have been an impeachable offense. Has Adam Schiff called Donald Trump deranged? Has he said he had a complex? Did he say he was a deranged human being and a maniac? Has Schiff ever said anything like that about Donald Trump? Because if he has, I'd love to hear it. Do you have any evidence of that? Because I don't.
No, all I asked you was, what do you think that Adam Schiff would say to that same Canadian leader that Donald Trump said about Schiff?
And I just gave you my
Right,
answer.
so
Schiff would not rise to that level.
You think he would actually be respectful towards the President of the United States under those circumstances?
I think Schiff would be respectful the office that he holds, and he'd be respectful the fact that he is a leader of the United States of America.
Maybe if he was on TV, he would have the act. But behind the scenes, I'm fairly certain that Adam Schiff and a lot of those Congress people on the left are very, very negative about Donald Trump.
Okay,
But yeah,
and you're making an assumption.
Obviously, in front of the cameras, you have to put on the, as Donald Trump said that the Macron did was the politically correct act. You have to do that. But behind the scenes, I think that a lot of these Congress people on the left are very, very negative about Donald Trump.
Well, here's my problem with what you just said. You have zero evidence to back that up. You're making a gross assumption, and we are talking about the things that you say publicly.
Am I making a gross assumption, Brian?
Can you give me evidence of something that Schiff has said about Donald Trump that rises to that
Schiff
level?
Goes out of his way on a consistent basis to try to make Donald Trump look like he shouldn't be the president of the United States.
Well,
and to literally drop him off.
He hasn't gone out of his way. He's talking about the president. No, he's not. He's talking about President Trump's behavior and evidence to support that. Now, that is his job. That's why we have an impeachment inquiry. But what you said is you're saying, what would Schiff do in that situation? And I gave you my answer. He would be more respectful. And I'm asking you, has Schiff said anything to those lines?
And I am going to say that I will disagree with your answer.
Then give me evidence then to support your opinion. What has Schiff said about Donald Trump that rises to that level?
He has been extremely negative towards Donald Trump.
What has he said
for years?
What has he said that rises to that level of being personal?
If he's been extremely negative about Donald Trump, why would that not
continue? In what way? What does that mean, negative? What does that mean? He's talking about the actions of Donald Trump and how he thinks those actions could be criminal and or impeachable. What do you mean negative? That's not being negative. That's doing your job. We're talking about Donald Trump calling Schiff a maniac on a world stage.
We're talking about Donald Trump attacking people who have attacked him and just doing it more informally and more bluntly. That's what we're talking about.
What has Schiff done that was an attack?
You have an issue with the way that he attacks people that attack him.
No, I have an issue
yes,
with
you do.
I have an issue with the way
you have a way with the words that he uses and his rhetoric.
I'll tell you what I have an issue with.
You have an issue with. And a lot of people have that issue.
I do.
I understand.
I have an issue
he's a 73-year-old guy. He's
I don't care how old
he's stuck
he is.
in his ways, and he's been this way his entire life.
That's not an excuse.
And
okay?
bottom line,
that's not an excuse.
Does this really affect your life, Brian? Does how Donald?
I think it affects the country.
Does how Donald Trump addresses Macron or a Canadian leader about someone who has gone out of his way to make his life a living hell affect your life? No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. And I'll explain why.
Okay, how?
I'll explain why. First of all, when you are sitting on a world stage with a world leader, one of our allies, and you get him to the point where he needs to tell the president to please be serious, and then the president of the United States attacks politicians in this country personally.
So you have a problem with the president of the United States joking?
Calling Adam, that's not a joke. There's nothing funny about talking about ISIS.
He said, please be serious. So obviously he was saying, stop joking, please be serious.
You think it is appropriate on a world stage in some of these NATO meetings to make jokes about giving another world leader who is by the way, an ally, ISIS fighters? You think that's appropriate?
No, like I said, Brian, he operates very, very informally compared to any president that we've ever had.
Why can't you just say it's inappropriate and wrong?
You and a lot of the country, particularly on the left for whatever reason, are just not used to that. And that's fine. That's okay.
So I'm just not. So you're okay with that then, for the record? You're okay with the president on a world stage making jokes to an ally and a world leader about giving him ISIS fighters? You're okay with that? You think that's okay? You think it's a joke? It's all a big joke.
So what did he say exactly, Brian? He said,
I played the audio.
Right. He said, ha, ha, ha. I have some ISIS fighters. Would you like a couple of ISIS fighters?
And you're okay with that? You think it's appropriate? On a NATO stage, you think it's appropriate? It's a yes or no question.
I don't understand what is your issue with it?
Are you kidding me? I thought I've addressed it. Okay, let me explain again if you don't understand. Okay.
It's not that I don't understand.
On a
but
world stage,
what is your issue with it?
When you are the why don't we replay the audio again? Then I'll explain. Okay, so this is again Donald Trump this morning sitting next to the Canadian. The French president. Here it is.
Macron.
We have a tremendous amount of captured fighters, ISIS fighters, over in Syria, and they're all under lock and key. But many are from France, many are from Germany, many are from UK. They're mostly from Europe. And some of the countries are agreeing. I have not spoken to the president about that. Would you like some nice ISIS fighters? Here, I can give them to you. Look at the you can take everyone you want. Let's be serious.
So, he's cracking a joke about ISIS fighters who kill innocent people on almost on an hourly basis, probably, certainly on a daily basis. And then he says this is why he's talking about Macron. This is why he's a great politician, because that's one of the greatest non-answers I've ever heard, when he actually told him to be serious and gave his response. And then he decides to go after Adam Schiff, calling Adam Schiff a maniac.
Okay, so he recognizes his PC response, which is fine. Donald Trump wasn't saying, I'm going to release these ISIS fighters into your country.
Didn't say that.
I think he was saying, would you like to have these ISIS fighters? Would you like to have them, some of them in your jails and your prisons?
Which is a ridiculous statement, and obviously he was not being serious. That is not a serious thing to say, and it is.
He said we have ISIS fighters from the UK.
Now your position is you think he was being serious? You think that was a serious statement?
I don't understand what the issue is. I really don't have an issue with that, Brian. Even if I wasn't a Trump supporter, I wouldn't have an issue with that. To be completely serious, I'm guessing.
So it's okay to joke about ISIS fighters.
And I'm guessing that the majority of our callers wouldn't have an issue with it either.
Well, if you're a Trump supporter, you probably and you can't admit that the president does anything wrong, then yeah, I would agree.
If I wasn't, and Brian, you know that I definitely have a lot of problems with Donald Trump, and I recognize those on a consistent basis. But this, I think you're overreacting here.
So it's not a big deal. Okay, so let me explain to you.
To me, honestly, it is not a big deal.
Do you understand what happened in this meeting this morning, though? Do you understand what happened? It was a tense exchange.
Okay.
They were not very friendly to one another. It did not go very well. This is an ally to the United States of America. And on top of the fact that he's attacking American politicians, in this case, Adam Schiff, and he's attacking the president in specific instances here, and he's also making condescending jokes that this president did not appreciate. It hurts our relationship with an ally of another country. That is what I'm trying to say. It's not helping. And President Trump always says he's going to have great relationships with these people all over the world.
Brian, what has that ally done for us in the last 20 or 30 years? Do you have any idea?
What has that ally done for us in 20 to 30 years?
What has France done to the United States?
I don't have a list.
You don't know.
Okay, in front of me.
I don't know either.
What I can tell you.
Do you think that it's possible that...
You asked me a question, let me answer it.
Right, and I'm not finished yet, but do you think that it's possible that Donald Trump believes that they haven't done enough and that it's kind of an unequal relationship and that we've done more for them than they've done more for us?
Which question would you like me to answer first? You asked me two different questions.
Answer the first one, Brian.
Okay. Certainly, when we went to war in Iraq, when we fought terrorism after 9/11, they put out a lot of soldiers to help us fight that war and fight ISIS. Even the war in Iraq. Now, the war in Afghanistan and in trying to hunt down Osama bin Laden, they played a very big role in that. And they are playing a role in fighting, I would imagine, Russian interference in the elections.
If I didn't have good communication with my team.
Uh-oh, what is that? What just happened? I don't know what that was. Anyway, I'm off kilter now. But anyway, what I'm trying to explain to you is that
Johnny, what just happened?
If you don't think that the French people have done enough to help the United States of America, that might be a different discussion. But that has nothing to do with making jokes about ISIS fighters. And, President Trump always says that he has the best relationship with people throughout the world. And if you disagree with me on that and you think it's appropriate for the president to be making remarks like that, just like I say on a world stage. See, here's the problem with Donald Trump.
I'm a biased right-wing buffoon.
Didn't say
moron,
that. I didn't say that.
Loser.
Now you're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that. I said what I was going to finish that statement.
And I'm very complicit.
If you feel I didn't say any of those things. I disagree with you on this, and I think you're wrong. If you think it's okay for the president to act this way on a world stage, that's up to you. That's up to you to think that way. But here's what I'll say about Donald Trump. When he does not have a teleprompter in front of him, and when he is not scripted, he makes the country look like an ass, because he is an ass. That's what he does. He embarrasses the country, just like when he was on a stage talking about Kim Jong-un and their meeting, about how he said Kim Jong-un felt very bad about Otto Warmbier. So here's the audio of Donald Trump talking about Schiff. These are the comments he made about an American politician this morning, and I want you to hear that. Here they are.
What do we want to learn from Adam Schiff testimony?
From which?
From Adam Schiff.
I learned nothing from Adam Schiff. I think he's a maniac.
What would you want to learn if he testified?
I think Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. I think he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. I think he's a very sick man, and he lies. Adam Schiff made up my conversation with the president of Ukraine. And one of the reasons people keep talking about it is that's what they saw. We have a perfectly beautiful 3 or 4 page transcription, and then in the other case, a 2-page transcription of the conversation. But a lot of people didn't read that. How many people called you? A friend of mine called up, a top person in New York called up, great friend of mine, very successful. Gee, I didn't like what was said. I said, oh, where did you see it? Did you read it? No, I didn't read it. I heard Adam Schiff give it. I said, well, that's not what was said. And I sent him a copy of what was said. He said, this is great. This isn't what he said. This guy is sick. He made up the conversation. He lied. If he didn't do that in the halls of Congress, he'd be thrown in a jail. But he did it in the halls of Congress, and he's given immunity. This is a sick person. He's a liar. And by the way, Nancy Pelosi knew he was lying, and she went on her show, Stephanopoulos, and she said he told the truth. So she was lying too. These people are deranged.
These people are deranged. I would certainly throw Donald Trump into that category. By the way, in time, we got to take a break here in a second, but in talking again about that transcript, and it's not even really a transcript, in the call with the Ukrainian president, he continues to call it a beautiful, perfect call. If he thinks this call was perfect and beautiful, which no logical person would agree with, then I guess he thinks down the road, that if he's president for the next 5 years, he can talk to any president in another country and want to open up an investigation into an American politician. And apparently there's nothing wrong with that because that is beautiful and perfect. I'll tell you what that is. That is disgusting, ridiculous, and probably breaking the law, and probably an impeachable offense. We'll continue to talk this. Michael Avenatti will be coming up in hour number 2. But when we get back, we're going to take a quick break. Back-to-back school shootings in Wisconsin, but they both have pretty good endings. I'll explain what that means coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take.
Hi, my name's Christina Stumble, and I own Farm Girl Flowers in San Francisco. With my Spark Cash Card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all my business purchases. Last year, I redeemed $115,000 in cash back. Yeah, $115,000. And that doubled our digital marketing budget for the summer. Thanks to my Spark Card, we had our best summer yet. Imagine what the Spark Card from Capital One could do for your business. What's in your wallet?
Real Capital One customers pay for real stories. Credit approval required.
There's an app to save on flights, an app to rent a bike, and an app to help you save for driving safely. The Allstate app gives you real-time driving feedback with DriveWise, giving you the power to lower your insurance cost. In fact, safe drivers can save 40% or more. Connect and save with DriveWise. You're in good hands.
Download the Allstate app today. Savings may vary by state and driving behaviors. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Use of Allstate Mobile with activation of DriveWise required. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Looking for that perfect new piece of furniture for your home? A New Concept Furniture is the place to start and end your search. They'll beat any price on the internet, and they're here locally, so you can feel what you're buying first. Go to A New Concept Furniture today at 4255 South Grand Canyon to see for yourself the slick, modern, shiny store that mirrors our shiny city. A New Concept. Check out their showroom or call them at 702-570-2240. That's 702-570-2240.
Distracted driving means danger,
recklessness,
irresponsible,
chaos,
police,
devastation,
injury,
tears,
death. Safe driving means staying alert and staying alive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
1015 FM, 720 AM, KDON, the talk of Las Vegas.
A tense moment in the joint news conference between President Trump and French President Macron at the NATO meeting in London.
Would you like some nice ISIS fighters? Yeah, I can give them to you. You can take every one you want.
Let's be serious. The interaction occurred after Macron said the fight against ISIS was still being fought. The two also clashed on issues including Russia and Turkey. A second high school shooting in as many days in Wisconsin, this time in Oshkosh. A security officer and student were both hurt after the officer confronted the student who was armed. An appeals court has ruled against the president's effort to block banks from handing over Trump's financial information to Congress. 4 workers fired from Google are planning to file a federal labor complaint claiming that Google unfairly retaliated against them for organizing workers. On Wall Street, the Dow is down about 360 points. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads in the KDON Traffic Center.
This report sponsored by Cox Business. I-15 northbound still closed at Sahara, and the delay is from Sunset at this point. 15 north, avoid heavy stop and go and do not take I-15 northbound. 15 south, a nice recovery. It looks like there's still some light slowing between Charleston and Sahara, but all intents and purposes, that's done. There's still some slowing 95 in the East Valley northbound Charleston to the Spaghetti Bowl, but the volume has eased up considerably, so it's a much better pattern for you. Cox Business has reliable internet and voice solutions. Ask how you can get up to a $200 Cox Business Visa prepaid card when you switch. Call 1-800-297-2610 today. Card issued by MetaBank, member FDIC. Terms and expirations apply. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Thank you, Southern Nevada, for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
Thank you.
When you wake up and before you go to bed.
Thank you for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. NMLS 128231. Equal housing lender. Not licensed in all states, including New York. Offer not available in Washington. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions.
Happy holidays from your friends at Cash Call Mortgage. While other companies are trying to get you to spend money this time of year, at Cash Call Mortgage, we encourage our customers to save money by refinancing and lowering their monthly mortgage interest rate. Imagine that, saving money during the holidays instead of spending it. At Cash Call Mortgage, we like that idea and offer low interest rates to back it up. So if you have an interest rate higher than 2.99%, give us a call to see if we can lower your monthly mortgage payment and save you money. And because we're a direct lender, we can close your refi in as fast as 20 days with no upfront deposit. The holidays are coming fast, so get the extra cash you need now with a mortgage refi from Cash Call Mortgage.
For a free quote to see if you qualify, call 800-786-1675. That's 800-786-1675. 800-786-1675.
Does your child love math? Do they just love math so much that once they finish their homework, they want to work on extra math problems just for fun? Anyone? If you answered no, then you are not alone. While your child may not think math is important for their future, we know better. That's because Infinity the Math Institute offers the best math tutors in Las Vegas, produces the best results at the best prices for kids of all ages. Infinity the Math Institute does it all. Does your child need prep for the SATs? Right now, SAT preparation classes in November are just $15. Fractions, algebra, geometry, decimals, you name it. Plus, Infinity offers homeschool programs, free seminars for parents and students. And whether your child is transitioning from elementary school to middle school to high school, or preparing for college, Infinity can help. Classes are filling up. Call us now to find out more. 702-768-1777. That's 768-1777. You want the best results for your child? One call to Infinity can have a huge impact on your child's future. Call now. 768-1777. Tell them the Vegas Take sent you.
SportsX Radio Nation, what's up? It's Ken Thompson, host of SportsX Radio, reminding you to catch me at my new time, 8 to 10 p.m. for all the local Vegas sports coverage, plus the national scene as well. That's SportsX Radio on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
Okay, men, time to be an all-star caregiver. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, be there emotionally and physically. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find care guides at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Sean Hannity, weekdays noon to 3 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
These people are deranged.
Yes, they are. They're very deranged. Welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, so glad you could join us. We'll get back to NATO here in a little bit and these back-to-back Wisconsin school shootings. You couldn't really ask for a better ending than what happened. I'll explain what that means coming up here in just a little bit. But joining us right now in studio, he is news anchor John Schaefer. John, what's going on, my man?
Well, here's what we have going on locally this morning. A driver who was going the wrong way on the 15 northbound between Sahara and Charleston this morning is dead after hitting a tractor-trailer head-on. The crash has that road closed, and it should be closed throughout most of the day.
I can't imagine that you're not under the influence of alcohol or drugs or something when you decide to go the wrong way on the 15. And by the way, I'm sure this has happened to everybody. It happened to me a few times where I'm driving on the highway, not in Vegas. I think it was back home in Connecticut, where I saw the headlights and somebody was going the wrong way and I had to swerve to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Very scary stuff. I'm sad that person lost their life, but thank God no innocent people lost their lives.
Seems to happen a lot here.
Yes.
Person is dead after an early morning fire in a vacant building. Las Vegas Fire and Rescue said that fire broke out this morning in 2019 Paradise. It's not known how the person died or why that person was in the vacant building.
Why do they call that street Paradise, by the way? Because it's nothing but paradise. I never really understood that. There's homeless people everywhere. There's crime, drugs, roach motels. Why is that? It should be called Drug Road or something, or like Don't Come Here Road, or I don't know. Am I wrong? Paradise is disgusting. It's gross.
Yeah, we should pave Paradise and put up a parking lot.
Yes, that's what they exactly.
Like
that's a good idea, John.
Meth Avenue.
Yeah, I would
Crack Loop.
Like, why are the most seriously? Why are the
Cocaine Boulevard?
Why are the most disgusting roads named like Paradise or Bermuda or I just don't.
It's actually everything but paradise.
Yeah, it's
nothing but
paradise. Is not a paradise. Go ahead.
I agree.
U.S. aviation officials inviting Southern Nevada residents to comment about new flight paths that are due to begin in the Las Vegas area in 2020. The FAA says current routes are safe, but it plans to modernize takeoff and landing routes around McCarran, North Las Vegas, and Henderson Executive Airports and Nellis Air Force Base. The plan is part of a sweeping next-gen air transportation system being rolled out nationally to cut airline fuel costs, reduce pollution, improve pilot and controller communication, and increase efficiency.
You know, that's crap. I never hang out around the Boulder Highway, so I was always happy when all the planes and the noise came from the Boulder because I don't hang around there anyway. Now, what are they going to do? They're going to ruin it for everybody, and the planes are going to be coming in and taking off and make it noisy in Summerlin. What's that supposed to? What is that? What is happening here? What is going on? I don't like that.
People got to get in and out.
There's nothing more annoying than hearing planes all day. I don't want to hear that.
I can put up with the plane noise for the convenience of having an airport where it is rather than having to drive 40 miles to the airport if it was way down in Jean.
It's very comforting to know that there's an airport close by, Brian.
Okay, that's true.
And having a plane fly by, you recognize that and you remember that fact.
Listen, I know that I used to go to the U.S. Open tennis tournament every year in Flushing Meadows, New York. And they actually changed the flight path at JFK just for that tennis tournament. So it can be done. If it's a disturbance somewhere, they can change the flight path. They can do it. That's all I'm saying.
How many people went to the U.S. Open in Flushing Meadows, New York, do you think, Brian?
I did.
Well, a lot of people. It's actually a major, and it's probably the biggest tennis tournament in the world.
100,000?
No. Absolutely not. At least millions of people flock to that every year.
Every year?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, over the several days. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's a 2-week tournament. It's a major. It's the biggest tennis tournament in the world. People from all over the world come for that tournament. It's 2 weeks, and it's absolutely it brings millions to New York. Absolutely.
Okay.
100,000. You're thinking small. You're thinking UNLV football. That's your problem. You're thinking small.
Well, where's it at?
Flushing Meadows, New York.
But
a few miles from Manhattan.
Arthur Ashe Tennis
Complex. How big is that, though? How many people fit it?
There's like 20 courts.
What's the capacity of it?
There's like 25 courts. I mean, it's historical.
The main one, I went to the men's final in 2001. I bet that main tennis thing holds probably 45,000 people.
I don't think it's that much, but certainly you get more than that on a daily basis because there's 20 or 30 different matches going on, probably more than that per day. So, yeah, it's a pretty big event. Yeah. But as much as I would love to do an hour on the U.S. Open tennis tournament in winter, let's continue with the news.
Well, speaking of winter, a seasonal chill in several northern U.S. states could mean fewer French fry orders for hungry customers. Cold and wet weather conditions that started in October in Idaho, North Dakota, and Minnesota have damaged potato crops and caused processors to scramble for supplies to keep the nightshade vegetables on menus. Fewer potatoes with no change in consumption could lead to a shortage of French fries and a price increase this year.
Okay, that's a big problem for me because first you started talking about vegetables and I said, okay, that's not going to affect me because I eat crap, right? And I eat awful foods. And then you mentioned the word French fries. Right. And now I'm very sad because French fries are a big part of my diet. I heard you're supposed to have French fries 3 times a day. So I should. Yeah, I try to do that. I told my doctor deep fried French fries are part of my diet.
Deep fried French fries.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
don't just want them fried. You want them fried more
I want
than once.
I want them deep fried. I want French fry sauce, and I want a good bacon cheeseburger. I want the cow mooing right next to me, and that's the type. And a big strawberry milkshake.
You know who you sound like? You sound like that chef Ruiz. We did a story on him about a couple months ago, didn't we? Ruiz, that celebrity chef that died. He had the French fries and gravy.
Oh, thank you.
Put it
so
on
I'm
Instagram
going to die tomorrow. So I'm going to die tomorrow. Is that what you're telling me?
I see some similarities there in what you just described.
I appreciate that.
Is it going to affect sweet potato fries?
No, just regular potatoes.
Oh, okay.
So you're okay then. All right.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
And those are much healthier.
Yeah, I'm at least
they're really good.
At least two of the three of us are not poster children for eating a good diet and taking care of themselves. I will say John Schaefer has done a very good job of doing that over the last couple of years, and I am very jealous. And but I'm never going to be in good physical condition. I was in college; it will never happen again because I eat and live like a pig, and that's just the way it is, my friend.
As long as you're happy.
Well, I'm not. Ask JD. I'm a miserable human being, so I'm never happy.
I would say he's a 4.4 out of 10 on consistent happiness.
That's not bad. So you're saying half the time I'm happy? That's not bad at all.
When you're gambling and you're winning, and when you're making fun of somebody,
so
when you're calling somebody a moron.
So wait, hold on. You're saying the only time I'm happy in life is when I'm gambling?
Or when you're putting other people down. Those are your two times.
Or when you're enriching yourself emotionally by, at somebody else's expense.
All right, JD, you're a moron. See, I'm happy now. I'm smiling.
There we go.
I'm smiling. I'm very happy. All right, Mr. Schaefer, you are not a moron, and you are in good physical condition, my friend. Thank you for coming on, as always, and doing the news. We appreciate that. When we come back, Waukesha, Wisconsin, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. 2 shootings, school shootings, in a 24-hour period. But believe it or not, it had as good of ending as you could ask for. I'll explain what that means coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Our best vapor yet at our best price ever, 99 cents, plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pods sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
At our Best Mattress Holiday Sale, save hundreds on all our best brands. Plus, bundle and save 25% on Pure Care bedding essentials. And get up to 72 months no-interest financing. Best Mattress. Sleep easy, friends.
Hi, this is Harvey Blankfeld, host of Las Vegas Real Estate Now. We are saying farewell to Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and moving to Saturdays at 11 a.m. Please do tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. and learn about real estate right here on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, the talk of Las Vegas.
Hey, it's Lee Goldberg of the GCI guys at Realty One Group. Do you know anyone that's looking to buy a home, sell a home, rent, move from California? If so, give them my number, 702-902-3029. All listeners of the Vegas Take get $1,000 in your hand back at closing. Hometown heroes, veteran, military, police, teacher, nurse, I'm giving you $2,000 back. That also goes for hospitality and casino employees. Free use of a moving truck for a day, 6 free months of home security. Call me, 702-902-3029, the GCI guys.
Consider making a really positive, lasting impact in the life of a child. I'm Molly Lathan for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southern Nevada. Our goal is to put together long-term friendships. Many people don't know that it only takes 4 to 6 hours a month. Be a role model, a support, be a wise adult sounding board, and basically just be their friend. Please visit our website at bbbsn.org and click on volunteer.
Nevada veterans need your help. The National Association of American Veterans is a 501c3 nonprofit organization providing support for veterans who are most in need. Emergency assistance, housing, medical care, counseling, and legal assistance are just a few of the services they provide. The National Association of American Veterans, NAAVets.org, helps veterans and their family members who are homeless and in critical need, and they need your help today. Please make your tax-deductible donation at NAAVets.org or call 866-559-8387. Veterans and their families have made the ultimate sacrifice, and they deserve our support and assistance. There are local Nevada vets in crisis now, and you can make a difference. Right now, a local 65-year-old Army vet, Glenn, is about to be evicted after the VA cut his benefits. And Ronald, another Las Vegas Army vet, will soon find himself in the same situation. Call 866-559-8387 or visit NAAVets.org and click on Donate Today.
This is Kevin Malone from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Go on our website, dmvnv.com, and sign up for a MyDMV account. You can see all of your driver's license and vehicle registration records in one place and do up to 20 online transactions. dmvnv.com. You're always first in line.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
And I like to play golf. You know, I'm a good golfer, believe it or not.
Welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Schreier. You want to know how not to play golf? Watch Donald Trump. Uh-oh, what happened to our music there? It just cut out. What happened? There you go. There you go. Bad. There. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No, it's not golf. It's golf.
Can you play that?
I like to play golf.
Can you play that clip again, Johnny? Donald Trump commenting about playing golf. Johnny, can you play that clip one more time for us, please? Play the clip of Donald Trump and the golf thing. I'd like to hear that one more time. Go ahead. The golf comment is what.
And I like to play golf. You know, I'm a good golfer, believe it or not.
And by the way, tell our producer Stein to leave you alone so you could do your job. So that's Donald Trump commenting about how he's such a great golfer. You know, I bet you if that guy went out there on the golf course, he probably couldn't break 100. I've heard, you know, I once interviewed Oscar de la Hoya. This was a few years back when Trump was running for president. And de la Hoya told me he played a round of golf with Trump, and Trump would cheat on basically every hole. He'd hit a shot in the woods, and then he'd throw one out of the golf cart. He would pick up his ball and mark it closer to the hole. That was according to Oscar de la Hoya.
But would he win?
I've said this about golf. No, Oscar de la Hoya is better.
Okay.
How you conduct yourself on the golf course is usually how you conduct yourself in life. For example, me. I have a horrible temper. I am a sore loser. However, I have never in my life cheated on the golf course. I'm competing with myself, and if I hit a bad shot, I will throw my clubs and I will throw a temper tantrum, and I am a whiner, but I am not a cheater. Donald Trump is a cheater. He is a cheater in life. What is that correlation? Well, look at the wives he's cheated on. Look at what he did with Melania Trump, banging a porn star unprotected while his wife just had a child. So I know you might think it's ridiculous, but I personally believe, think about this for a second, how you act and conduct yourself on a golf course is how you are in life. Donald Trump drives a golf cart, and he drives carts literally right up in front of the green where you're not supposed to be. He breaks rules in life, and he cheats.
Again, that's on courses that Donald Trump
matter.
owns.
I'm going to tell you, JD.
It's not ridiculous, Brian. He owns the golf courses. He can do whatever he wants. And if the members don't like it, they can leave. And they can go to a different golf course.
That is one of the most.
But again, he still owns the golf course.
I got to be honest with you.
We've
been doing a show together for how long?
And that's fine.
Can I respond to what you just said?
If you own a car,
you
own a car, you can set your car on fire. You can do whatever you want.
Completely different circumstance.
Because you own your car.
Completely. That is a ridiculous analogy. I'm going to be honest with you. We've been doing this, a year and a half? We've been on the air together? Maybe longer?
We talked about this yesterday,
okay.
Brian.
In the year and a half that we have been on the radio together, that is the most ridiculous take I have ever heard you say. And let me explain why. You're saying because you own a golf course, you can take your cart on the golf course. There are greenskeepers that work their asses off. There are people that, hold on, let me finish.
And they're getting paid, man.
Can I finish?
They're all getting paid.
Can I finish? They maintain their golf course, okay? They work hard to make the golf course beautiful. The members treat the golf course with respect. And you're saying because you own the golf course one day, you can take a cart and drive a cart on the greens of the golf course and tear it apart, and you're totally okay with that because he owns the course. That is ridiculous.
Did he take a golf cart? Because you're making it sound like he took a golf cart and did 4 cookies back and forth while drinking a 40.
You're making it sound like you're okay with that.
That is not. No, I'm not. I didn't say that, Brian. What did he do?
Yesterday when we had this conversation, and I want to get to the topic.
Obviously, if he was going to do that, that would be ridiculous. But he can still do it because he owns it. But what he did
was,
that's
your opinion. He can still do it.
Since he's 73 years old, he owns the course. He's welcome to drive up to the green instead of having to walk up to it.
Now you're changing your opinion.
No, I'm not changing my opinion. You're making the most egregious situation.
You are. You're saying he can do whatever he wants.
No, you're trying to make me seem like I'm okay with the most egregious possible situation, and that's not the case at all.
You said he can do what he wants. You just said it.
Because he owns the course.
He can do donuts on the green. You're okay with that?
He owns the course. He can do whatever he wants.
So you're okay with him doing donuts on the green?
No, I'm saying he can do what he wants, no repercussions, because he owns the course. Am I okay with him doing donuts on the green? Of course not, Brian.
Okay, well, you didn't say that. Well, you just said 5 minutes ago he owns the course. He can still do it.
No, you're making the extreme as my opinion.
Okay, well,
which
that's
is
not what you just said a minute ago.
No, I said it's his course. He can do what he wants. Right. I did not say I was okay with that. I said he can do what he wants.
Right. Well, to me, Donald Trump has
and
the
again,
same.
You're trying to spin it again as me.
No,
that's not the case at all.
No, not spinning it.
No, am I fine with him driving up as a 73-year-old man to the green to go on the green and golf? Fine, that's fine. I don't care about that.
That's not what you said.
No,
a minute ago.
You're making it seem like he is getting in his cart and he is driving around and doing 4 figure eights on the green and causing problems and taking vodka and pouring it in all the
First
the
of all,
marks. That's not the case at all, Brian.
I didn't say that. But I will say this, and this is
you're
very
making,
simple.
You're making it seem like whatever. If I say that that's okay, then I'm okay with literally anything, no matter what the circumstance.
The point I made, and I didn't want to get into a 5-minute discussion about Donald Trump playing golf. Can I just talk?
No, we've been doing.
You're interrupting me again.
We've been doing this show for what 19 months now, and now you're saying that it's the most ridiculous take I've ever made. It's going to be at least a 5-minute conversation.
Yes.
If you're going to say something stupid like that, Brian.
I don't think it's stupid at all. And I can tell you that many people that were listening yesterday thought your take was ridiculous. I'm not the only one that felt that way. And you just said if Donald Trump decided to do donuts on a green, he still has the right to do that because he owns the golf course.
Yes.
You just said that 2 minutes ago.
He owns the golf course. Of course he has the right to do that.
So if you own something, you have the right to destroy it, even though there are thousands of other people that use that same golf course. You're okay with that? That's insane.
Obviously, it's a bad decision, but they're going to, they'll go to a new course. It doesn't make it. The point is, Brian, he owns
completely
the
disrespectful. He doesn't think about other people.
I'm not suggesting.
And here's the point.
I'm not suggesting that it's not disrespectful.
And forget about the donuts.
But you're making it sound like he does donuts, and he's not doing donuts. Well, he's just driving.
If I can just get out my point,
he's driving onto the green.
If I could just get out my point, which is something I was trying to say at the beginning of this segment, it is that how you act and behave on the golf course usually is indicative of how you live your life. Donald Trump cheats on the golf course. And even though he might not be doing donuts on a green, there are specific signery on a golf course that says you can't put the cart there. I know many people that are 20 years older, 15, 10, 15 years, in their 80s, that are older than Donald Trump, that abide by the rules on a golf course and can, take an extra 10 feet to walk. Donald Trump is not in a condition where he's not able to walk 10 or 15 feet, okay? And the point I'm trying to make is he breaks the rules on a golf course, he cheats on a golf course, and he breaks the rules in life, and he cheats in life. He cheats on women, he cheats with his taxes, and he cheats in life. And that is the point I was trying to make. It's a very simple point. It's a very logical point, and we don't have to get into the donut on a putting green competition in a debate here. It's a very simple discussion I'm having here. How you act on a golf course, I believe, is indicative into how you live your life. Donald Trump is a cheater, he is a liar, and he doesn't abide by the rules that you and I abide by, period.
And I think that because I am now wearing glasses, and we are now both wearing glasses. If you watch the live stream, I've got some glasses that eliminate blue light. I think that you are starting to feel threatened because I also am wearing glasses, and you were the guy that was wearing glasses until now.
No, if you see me turning red, I'm embarrassed for you with your opinion on the golf cart. That's why.
That's because you don't own anything, Brian.
Actually, that's not true. I do own things. I don't know what reference you're trying to make there. And I'll tell you something. Better yet, I've never owned a golf course. Hold on, let me finish.
When you own things, you can do what you want to them.
Let me finish. Even though I don't own any of the golf courses I've played in my life, my parents taught me respect when I was younger. When you go on a golf course, you respect the golf course. You repair your ball marks. You don't drive a cart where you're not supposed to be driving a cart. You don't cheat on a golf course. You have some dignity when you're on the golf course. It's a gentleman's game. That's the way you're supposed to conduct yourself on a golf course and in life. And don't get me wrong, I am not perfect. I am embarrassed with the way I act sometimes at a poker table. But when I am on a golf course, I respect the golf course. I respect other members. And there is not one person that I've ever played golf with in my life, and I've played with thousands of people in my life since I was 12 years old, that would say I do not act like that. I respect the golf course. I don't care whether you own it or not. It's about respecting other people and the people that put that golf course together, whether you own it or not. I'm sorry, your take is completely and utterly ridiculous.
It is not ridiculous, Brian. When you own it, you can do what you want with it. Do I agree with him doing donuts? No, but he wasn't doing donuts. He was driving up there to the green to get closer to it, and he was walking on and making his putts on a course that he owned. Again, if all the members don't like the way that he operates, and if the greens are messed up, and if the course is in the best shape because he is messing up the course by what he's doing with this cart, that's fine. They can go somewhere else. But again, he owns the golf course.
Well, let's talk about this radio station.
So he can do what he wants.
Let's talk about this radio station for a second, since when you own it, you can do whatever you want with it. What if the owners of this radio station decided to go into the cubicles of the sales offices and spray graffiti everywhere? Would your response be, well, you know what? They own the building, so they can do whatever they want with it. That would be a logical response. They own it, right? They own the building.
Right.
They own the company.
All right. They own the building. They can do whatever they want, but there would be repercussions to those actions.
So there's no repercussions to Donald Trump ruining a golf course.
I didn't say that. I said the repercussions would be his members would probably go somewhere else. That's what I said 4 or 5 times now.
What about the people that work at the golf course?
They're still getting paid no matter what.
Yeah,
They're actually,
you certainly would give them a lot more work to do, wouldn't you?
Or you'll be paying them more to do more work.
Yeah, you think Donald Trump would do that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm sure Donald Trump would say, you know what? I ruined all these golf greens, so why don't I just pay my employees in the greenskeeper double? Yeah, I'm sure he's such a stand-up guy. I'm sure he would do that. The point I'm trying to make is abide by the rules on the golf course, abide by the rules in life. How you conduct yourself on a golf course, in my personal opinion, is probably how you conduct yourself in life. If you're honorable on the golf course and you treat a golf course with respect, you're probably going to treat people with respect. If you don't cheat on a golf course, you're probably not going to cheat in life and you're going to pay your taxes. If you act honorably.
You think that how you act on a golf course, the integrity that you show on a golf course applies to your life because no one is watching you.
No, people are watching you.
Well, no, but not really.
Your playing partners can be watching you.
If Donald Trump has been cheating, obviously he's been cheating when someone's been looking away. He'll kick the ball forward or he'll throw it in whatever direction.
Correct.
So what that means, he's doing whatever he wants to do when no one is watching, which is the literal textbook definition of integrity. So you think that the integrity that you exhibit on the golf course applies to real life?
So you think it is the textbook of integrity to cheat when nobody's looking?
No, I'm saying what you do when nobody is watching is the definition of integrity. And so if Donald Trump on the golf course is kicking his ball,
I think that's fair to say.
5 feet forward or throwing it 4 feet to the left or to the right or whatever direction he feels is going to benefit him the most, then you're cheating. And so you think that if you do that on the golf course, and you'll do the exact same thing in person.
Well, let me be clear, and then we got to take a break, and we got to get to the shootings and stuff. We
Let's
got Michael
get to it.
Avenatti. Hold on, we have Michael Avenatti coming up next. I believe that if you kick your ball on a golf course and throw a ball out of the woods and do that sort of thing, you will probably ask a foreign leader, a foreign president, to open up an investigation into a political rival and withhold aid. I believe there's a direct correlation between cheating on a golf course and asking a president of a foreign country for help on a political rival. Yes, I think there's the correlation, JD. That's how I feel about that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Does that make sense to you?
Tons of sense.
Fine. So quickly, I just want to talk about this. Waukesha, Wisconsin, school shooting there where at 10 a.m. yesterday, kid walks in there with a gun. Who knows? He's 17 years old. He pulled out a gun in a classroom. Luckily, all the kids in the classroom were able to escape. And here's where it gets really interesting. A school official who was carrying a gun, a resource officer, not a teacher, walked into the classroom. The kid refused to put the gun down. At one point, pointed it at the officer. The officer shot him. Nobody else hurt. Nobody else injured. I have no problem with school officials, in this case, resource officers, being trained properly. And this school resource officer is a hero. Make no mistake about it. Who knows what would have happened if that resource officer wasn't there? Now, less than 24 hours later, this happens this morning. And this happened in Oshkosh West High School, where a school resource officer and a high school student were both transported to a hospital after a shooting. The student was armed with a weapon when they confronted the resource officer, and only one student was injured, and the school remains on lockdown. But when I say this is the absolute best outcome that could have happened in both of these shootings, it is. No innocent students were hurt. No adults were hurt. And you have two resource officers that both did their job, and it appears to be did it well. One resource officer was injured, but it looks like he's going to be okay. And both students who carried guns into school, I believe both of them were shot. This is the best outcome we can have. Obviously, in a perfect scenario, we'd like the child or the student to, hand over his weapon. We don't want any shots being fired. But in this type of situation, these school resource officers were trained, and they were trained correctly. They did their job. They did their job fantastic. And they should be commended for that. In my opinion, they are both heroes. I do not believe that more guns are the answer. I don't believe that teachers should be carrying guns. I believe in this specific situation, in both of these situations, I believe every high school should have these types of officers in the schools that carry guns. All right, so coming up next, it is the Michael Avenatti Hour. Boy, do we have a lot to get to with him. Trump versus Macron, the NATO meeting. We'll talk to him about that. A little bit about Lisa Page, Joe Biden, the No Malarkey tour. Is that going to make sense? We know Michael's supporting Joe Biden. I'll ask him about that. Coming up next, much more to get to as well, including the impeachment and phase 2, which starts tomorrow. Michael Avenatti next. We're listening to the Vegas Take. We'll take some calls coming up right after this.
Impeachment approaches. Trump and Macron get testy. I'm Mike Moss. The House is poised to release a landmark impeachment report outlining evidence of what it calls Donald Trump's wrongdoing toward Ukraine. The findings could lead Congress toward a debate over whether to impeach the president. Correspondent Phil Mattingly reports the House is now moving very quickly.
This is essentially the starting gun to the final sprint to impeachment. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, based on this Intelligence Committee product, based on the articles of impeachment they're drafting, the President of the United States is likely to be impeached before Christmas. How that actually happens, what the articles look like, that's still being debated. But this is happening, and it's happening fast.
President Trump speaking in London at the NATO meeting.
Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. I think he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. I think he's a very sick man.
French President Macron says Europe needs to move in its own direction to keep NATO relevant and ready to respond to Russia.
But when we speak about NATO, it's not just about money. We have to be respectful with our soldiers. The first burden we share, the first cost we pay, is our soldiers' lives. And I do believe that in such circumstances, we do pay what we have to pay for collective security.
Macron has called NATO brain dead under U.S. leadership. President Trump calls those remarks nasty and insulting. Police in Oshkosh, Wisconsin say a police officer and an armed student at a high school were both wounded in a confrontation this morning.
One student was injured and a school resource officer was also injured. Both were transported to local hospitals for injuries.
It's the second high school shooting in Wisconsin in as many days. Stocks are falling today as the president says a trade deal with China might not come until after the 2020 elections. The Dow is down 364 points, S&P down 29. I'm Mike Moss.
The only FM news talk station in the Valley. 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station. It's time to check the roads in the KDON Traffic Center.
This report is paid for by Doctor-Patient Unity. I-15 northbound still closed at Sahara for an ongoing accident investigation. The backup is still from the 215 Southern Beltway. Now in the mix, though, an accident reported on 15 north at Russell. Vehicles are off to the right. Also a crash on the 215 Southern Beltway eastbound at I-15 and an accident on 15 northbound at Speedway in the North Valley. As surprise medical bills bankrupt Americans, Jackie Rosen demands insurance companies pay their fair share and opposing their rate-setting proposal to cover less of your medical care. Tell Jackie Rosen thank you and keep fighting. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
This holiday season, get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
If you bet on sports in Las Vegas, you've probably seen those so-called sports betting gurus who claim to have a formula, and they never deliver. For more than 2 decades, Scoregenics has never had a losing year, averaging over 300% return on investment. Sound too good to be true? It's not, and Scoregenics can prove it. The next 10 callers receive a free 6-month membership. No credit card needed, no tricks, just winning picks covering the rest of the NFL and NBA season absolutely free. What do you have to lose? Call Scoregenics now. 888-51-SCORE. That's 888-51-SCORE. 888-51-SCORE. Call now.
Hey, I'm Reagan, and I am Westar Credit Union. You may not have heard of us, and that's okay. Our team has the same products and services you'd find at one of the bigger banks, and we're small enough to know you by name. At Westar, we're not about flashy football TV ads or big intimidating voiceovers. We're here for you. Wherever you are on your financial journey, Westar Credit Union is where you matter. Check us out at westar.org/join.
Hi, I'm Raymond Denon, Vice President of Optima Tax Relief. If you're in debt to the IRS, there's a lot you need to know. Starting with rule number 1, don't mess with the IRS. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, even take your home or business. That's all true. But it's also true that there's a way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. It's one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, even tens of thousands. Nobody knows this program like us, the experts at Optima Tax Relief. We have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, and we've resolved over $500 million in tax debt for our clients. We'll stand between you and the IRS and fight to get you the best deal possible. Don't mess with the IRS. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima for a free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Maybe it's time to take a fresh look at everything we thought we knew about landing a great job. For instance, what if phenomenal careers start at the middle school science fair instead of at the job fair? If being the captain of the robotics team means just as much on a college application as being captain of the football team. And if knowing the quadratic formula is every bit as important as knowing the right people. Well, the fact is, the jobs of the future will be heavily geared towards science, technology, engineering, and math. In other words, the future is STEM. More opportunities, better pay. And the road to these great jobs starts as early as middle school. So if you're a student, talk to your school counselor about STEM. If you're a parent, talk to your kids. Because the job you'll get in the future may very well depend on what you do today. A public service message from America's Navy.
720 on the AM, 1015 FM.
Yeah, now on FM.
The only FM news talk station in Las Vegas. KDON. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, rolling out hour number 2. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. Also streaming live at the moment. It's our YouTube page, the Vegas Take. It's awesome. Check it out. And also, our new website is up. We're very excited about that. It's looking good. It's thevegastake.com. So check out all of those. It is time now for us to get in the ring with Michael Avenatti. Well, I don't know if I'm doing it personally, but we'll certainly get some callers coming up in a little bit. But attorney Michael Avenatti right now joining us on the line. Michael, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was very good. Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. That's right. Why don't we speak a little French right now? Why don't we talk about the NATO summit? What are your thoughts on this, I guess you could say, aggressive conversation between the French president and Donald Trump? What are some of the highlights? Obviously, he attacked Adam Schiff, calling him a deranged human being and a maniac. And then he attacked the French president, calling his previous brain death comments very nasty. He made jokes about ISIS, offering him ISIS leaders and terrorists. What do you make of all this, Michael, this morning?
Well, it's a complete clown show. You know, every time that you see Donald Trump on a world stage with other world leaders, you know, whether it's even Vladimir Putin or Macron or others, you realize what an absolute clown this guy is, and really how he has no business being on the same stage as these folks, regardless of whether you agree with their policies or not. You know, these people generally have a presence about them. They know how to conduct themselves. They have an intelligence level about them. And I mean, Trump just looks silly. He looks like an absolute clown.
Yeah, well, that's because he probably is. I mean, he could be, if somebody hired him to work at Circus, that'd probably be a better gig for him. I want to ask you a little bit about these conspiracy theories that have started with Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. And now Republicans have adopted this conspiracy theory that Ukraine had something to do with the 2000 election hacking. There is no evidence to back that up. In fact, Republicans are the ones that secretly investigated this and found nothing to support these conspiracy theories. Yet, why is it that Donald Trump continues to echo Vladimir Putin? And now there are a few Republicans out there, you want to talk about clowns, that are also echoing this. What do you make of this, Michael?
Well, it's a distraction tactic. You know, it's a shiny object that Trump and other Republicans want to put out there to divert attention away from his own misconduct relating to Ukraine and attempting to get them to dig up dirt on his political opponent, Joe Biden. I mean, that's all it is. It's a shiny object. It's a tactic that he hopes to use in order to distract people's attention.
Let's talk a little bit about Joe Biden, because obviously you've said many a times on this show and in other places that you're the reason why you're supporting Joe Biden is you think that he has the best chance to defeat Donald Trump. And you've eloquently put out the facts and why you feel that way and your opinions. What do you make of this no malarkey tour? Because there are some people on the left and the right, both, that are kind of going after him for this no malarkey tour bus and this sort of thing. A lot of people are saying, well, it's something that a middle-aged or older man would say, and it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to resonate with younger people in America that are going to be voting. What do you say to that?
Well, I was critical a few days ago. I remain very critical about this no malarkey verbiage. It should be called no bullshit. I mean, that's what it should be called. You got Donald Trump on the other side of the race, okay? And this is a guy that will stop at nothing in order to win. He has virtually no bounds. And malarkey, I mean, that's a term that I don't even know that I've ever used that term. I don't think anyone under the age of 50 has likely used that term, let alone perhaps under 70. So I think it was a terrible choice of words for that tour, frankly, especially under the circumstances, and a lot of people thinking that Joe Biden is a little long in the tooth to be running. I don't agree with that, but I certainly understand the concern about it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know who the hell, if somebody would have walked into my office if I was on that campaign and said we're going to have the no malarkey tour, I would have fired him on the spot and said, you clearly don't get it.
Right, so
you're clueless.
You don't think that's a great way to get the younger vote for Joe Biden?
Okay. So let's set this up though. No, it's not. Let's set this up. Imagine, Michael.
I mean, why don't they just put like a walker with tennis balls on the seat on the side of the bus, to go along with it?
Imagine Joe Biden walking into a meeting with his campaign advisors, and he says, you know what? We're going to take this bus. We're going to call it the No Malarkey Tour. And I'm sure some of his advisors probably, I would imagine, think the same way you think and we think, and thought, oh boy, Mr. Vice President, this is probably not a good idea. What do you think Joe Biden said? He's like, no. What did he do? Did he pump his fist on the table and bang his fist on the table? So no, this is the No Malarkey Tour, and this is what we're going to do.
If that's the case, then his entire staff is a bunch of yes men.
I don't know. I mean, Michael,
want.
How did this go down? How did they even allow it? I don't understand.
Well, I don't know how it came to pass, but it probably was not Biden's idea. I mean, I doubt that Biden is spending his time coming up with these phrases that they're going to put on the side of the bus. I mean, normally if you're a candidate, you're running, you've got other things you have to worry about, your next campaign stop, making sure your, speech is on point, calling people to raise money, calling people to get their support. I doubt that it was his idea, but whoever's idea this was, it was a terrible idea. Yeah. And I'm shocked that it underwent any degree of review and then ultimately made it to reality. But, it's just a terrible slogan. It doesn't make any sense. And I understand he has a history of using that term, or he's used it in the past in the Senate, and I get it. But, these are different times, and this is a different type of campaign. And you can't have a guy out there saying no malarkey while, another guy, namely the President of the United States, is using terms like bullshit and constantly calling people out.
Well, it might work on St. Patrick's Day in Boston.
Yeah. What do you think would be a worse idea? What Joe Biden did with the No Malarkey Tour, or if you ran for president and if it said the CPL tour? Sorry, I had to make a bad joke there, Michael.
That's
I apologize. I'm sorry. I had
horrible
to
joke.
That probably wouldn't be such a good idea. All right, so we're talking with Michael Avenatti, attorney Michael Avenatti, and let's talk a little bit about Lisa Page, Michael, because this is you've been one who have told me off the air and on the air that how you believe that the Trump administration certainly went after you. Let's talk a little about this Lisa Page thing. We all know who she is. We all know what she did. So she cheated on, her spouse, and she did these text messages, and it appears as though her life, for the most part, has been ruined. And she said on record she just wants her life back. Yet alone, Donald Trump is the one that keeps attacking her, and he won't let it go. I mean, what do you make of this?
Well, I mean, she's finally spoken out now, and frankly, I think she should have spoken out a long time ago, because here's the problem. And a lot of people don't understand this, and they make the mistake. They think that if they just remain quiet, that this will, blow over. But with this administration and with Trump and a lot of his surrogates and a lot of his cronies, they don't allow these things to blow over. They constantly keep going back to the well. And if you don't get out and try to define your own narrative, they will define it for you. And that narrative will take hold. And no matter what you do from that point forward, you're going to have to live with that narrative because they have the power of communication. I mean, look at the president's Twitter following. He's got, quite the soapbox. Anything that he says gets reported. And the communication apparatus that they've built around him by way of some of his surrogates and other supporters is significant. I mean, they get it. They understand how to play the social media game. They understand how to get information out in the media. So you can't remain on the sidelines and just remain silent. Otherwise, the train will leave the station without you, not to mix metaphors. But so I think that she should have come out a long time ago and told her side of the story. The irony of Trump utilizing this extramarital affair to discredit her is just so rich in light of the fact that, this guy has been loyal to no one, certainly no woman over the course of his lifetime.
That's for sure. There's no question about that. If you're just joining us, Attorney Michael Avenatti. Okay, Michael, we'll get back to that, but we have some breaking news, and you're the perfect person to have on the line with us to share your opinions on this. Kamala Harris has just announced that she will be dropping out of the 2020 race, according to sources. I should say she didn't officially announce it, but CNN is reporting that Kamala Harris has just dropped out of the race. This was one of the front runners after the first debate. Remember, if you recall, when she went after Joe Biden, and then it just went astray from there. What is your initial reaction to that? Kamala Harris dropping out of the 2020 presidential race.
Well, I think it's the right decision, and I think a number of other candidates should also drop out. I mean, this is the Democrats need to be focusing their attention on, a select few candidates and picking someone from that group. Her campaign, unfortunately, has been flailing for some time. I think that ultimately she very well may be the Democratic nominee at some point in the future. This was not the race for her. I don't think that matchup would have been good at all against Donald Trump. I think it's a terrible matchup for her, frankly. But that's not to say that there will not be a matchup down the road, whether it be in 4 or 8 or 12 or even 16 years or more, that'll fit her strong suit better. And I mean, certainly I don't think it's the end of seeing her on a presidential stage or participating in a primary. But I think this was the right decision. I think a number of other people also need to hang it up, starting with Andrew Yang and others. I mean, it's time.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts on Kamala Harris are this. I think she is an extremely intelligent woman. She's certainly not stupid. She has experience, certainly as an attorney general there. And I think she has some charisma, energy. I thought she also had some gaps and made some mistakes. There's no question about that. But I believe she does have a future in politics. It's not going to be the president of the United States. But I don't have a lot of negative things to say about her. I think she's a decent woman who has some decent policies in place. I don't think Tulsi Gabbard helped her any, that's for sure.
Tulsi Gabbard definitely did a number on it. Michael, do you think that she'll be considered or that she would consider as a possible VP candidate for any nominees?
I think that could happen. I think that that very well could happen. That she would be I think she'd be a very good VP choice, frankly. And depending on who the nominee is, I think a Biden-Harris ticket might be very strong.
I agree.
Do you think?
And I also want to say this. I'm warming to this idea of Michael Bloomberg, frankly, and I'm warming to it for a number of reasons. You spent $40 million in the last week on advertising, TV and online. I think a poll just came out earlier this morning that showed him surpassing Harris in the polls. I think he's now in 5th. He spent more money on television last week, TV advertising, than any campaign in the history of the United States has spent in 1 week. Any campaign ever. It's a pretty significant statistic. He spent $30 million on television alone last week. This is a guy that can spend an enormous amount of money. A bunch of Democrats came out last week and criticized him when he said he was going to enter the race and he was going to spend a bunch of money. I think that's foolish. I think it's absurd. The Democrats finally have somebody who's a billionaire who wants to go out and spend a bunch of money bashing Trump. And, I say bring it. I say God bless him. I mean, if he wants to spend his own money going after Trump and trying to save the democracy, God bless him. We should be welcoming him in with open arms. I don't know if ultimately he'll be the nominee, but I think he's going to be more competitive than a lot of people think he is.
Well, and obviously Donald Trump has noticed him because he has Bloomberg obviously is a publication, and Trump has prevented them from covering any of his press conferences or campaign rallies. My question is, does Bloomberg have a case for tortious interference, considering that will definitely affect his bottom line against Donald Trump with this?
I don't know that he has a case for tortious interference. Frankly, I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on Bloomberg News or their ability to, properly report what's going on. That's a pretty well-run organization, by the way. I have a lot of experience with these various news organizations and TV studios and producers and the like, and I have to tell you that Bloomberg's operation is top-notch.
Well, now that you say that,
dealings with them.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Michael, but since we're talking about this, let's talk about the credentials situation. I don't know if you heard this story, but the Trump campaign says that it won't grant press credentials to Bloomberg News reporters for campaign rallies and stops and speeches and those types of things, which I think is utterly ridiculous. They tried to take the credential, if you recall, away from Jim Acosta. He got that back a month later. So what do you make of this story with Bloomberg reporters now not allowed to cover Trump rallies, speeches, and so on?
Yeah, I just think it's more pettiness by Trump, and this is what he does relating to people that he doesn't like, or he tried to take, I think, what was it, Acosta's credential,
right,
some time ago, and others. And, there's really no excuse for this. I mean, what's the argument that somehow these folks are going to be spying for Mike Bloomberg? I mean, these are public events for the most part. I mean, it's not as if they were given access that no other news organization was being given. So, I just think it's another petty move by Trump, silly in my opinion, and I don't think it's going to have a big impact.
Take some phone calls here in just a few minutes at 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. A question or comment. On the line with us is attorney Michael Avenatti. As you know, Michael, these newly released Mueller investigation notes just came out. As a part of it, apparently Rosenstein and Jeff Sessions did discuss replacing Comey during the presidential transition, and Rosenstein said that he was angry, ashamed, and horrified, as well as embarrassed at the handling of the Comey firing. Hope Hicks discussed how to handle the Trump Tower meeting. Pence apparently pushed Trump to fire Flynn, according to Gates, and Giuliani wouldn't have recused himself on the Rust investigation, according to Gates. And there's so much more into this. Have you had a chance to look at it? What do you make of this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty explosive, and I think that it proves a lot of people have been saying all along, and that was that there was a concentrated effort by Trump early on to get rid of Comey and undermine his authority within the FBI and the Department of Justice. I think it's more the same in many aspects. There's a lot of people with the FBI and the DOJ that are disgusted about how those organizations have been politicized. Especially over the last year and a half or so. You've really seen a weaponization of the FBI and the Department of Justice to benefit Trump. And you've seen that, certainly with me. You've seen it with Biden and others. And it's going to continue until he's displaced. And, a lot of people may roll their eyes. They may not think this is a big deal. Well, you should think it's a big deal because you could be next.
Obviously, Michael Cohen, one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, why Michael Cohen is behind bars right now in federal prison is because of you, Michael. And a lot of people are thankful that you did your due diligence to make sure of that. So now in this Mueller report, it appears as though Cohen asked Jay Sekulow about the possibility of a pardon sometime after his apartment and hotel room were raided by the FBI back in April 2018. Did you know about this back then?
Yeah, I can't really get into the details of what I knew back then and what transpired, unfortunately, because I'm limited in what I can discuss in that regard.
I totally understand that, but now that the report is public and you can see it publicly, I don't think anybody is surprised that Cohen thought that Donald Trump was on his side and he would give him a pardon. But it appears as though, and you've talked about this on the show before, that if anybody turns their back on Donald Trump, that's it. He's done. He's not going to do anything to help you out. Isn't this just another classic case of that?
Well, yeah. I mean, the problem with Cohen was he stayed at the table too long. And what I mean by that is that the time that he needed to determine very early on, like April, May of last year, as to whether the pardon was going to happen or not. And if he did not get the assurance that he needed, then he should have immediately, basically turned state's evidence, gone to Congress, provided the testimony that he ultimately provided, and then some very early on. The problem is he stayed at the table too long. So by the time he got around to it, it was basically too late. He was not in a position to get the deal that he ultimately wanted. So, he had held out hope, I think, that Trump was going to give him a pardon, which was foolish in my view. And he waited too long to make the decision. And by the time he ultimately made the decision, the clock was up.
So in this report, we've also learned that Michael Cohen stated that Sekulow said to Cohen that it wasn't necessary for anybody to elaborate on this Trump Tower Moscow talks. And apparently Sekulow said it wasn't necessary to elaborate really on any of this stuff that could damage Donald Trump. Is that a shocker to you? It shouldn't be.
No, I'm not surprised at all. They've obstructed justice time and time again over the last 3 years with multiple witnesses. They've shaped testimony, told witnesses to withhold information and the like. And, if this was any other American, they would have been indicted.
Right. Apparently, go ahead, JD.
So Rudy Giuliani last week, when asked if he thought that Donald Trump would turn on him, he said, "I've got an insurance card." Do you think he was half kidding, or what do you think he meant by that, Michael?
Good question, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have read into that he was talking about the fact that he had information about Trump that he could potentially use. I don't know if that's true or whether Giuliani was making a joke about if he got run over by a bus, physically, he had insurance to cover his injuries or something of that nature. With Giuliani, you never know, frankly, because he's quite the wingnut these days. But, I don't read too much into that. I think, look, everybody knows that if Giuliani gets indicted, that's a problem for Trump. And that's why I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, I don't think he's going to be indicted as long as Trump is in office, because I think he knows too much, and I think that he could do a lot of damage to the president.
No doubt. Joining us on the line, it is attorney Michael Avenatti. Michael, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will take phone calls, questions or comments. Attorney Michael Avenatti, and something we have not gotten into next segment, we will be talking about phase 2 of this impeachment inquiry. Michael's thoughts on that, and we will take your phone calls. Now's the time to call in, 702-257-5396 if you have a question or comment. Any of the topics we've discussed today, Michael Avenatti is joining us on the line. Again, that number, if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, it's 702-257-5396. Our guest, Michael Avenatti, will be waiting on the line. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Our best vapor yet and our best price ever. 99 cents plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pod sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
Tuscany Suites and Casinos is a place for locals to win in December. Tuscany is giving away 55-inch flat-screen TVs and free slot play every Friday at 2:15 and 6 p.m. during their holiday drawings. 10 winners each Friday. Plus, every Friday starting at noon, try your luck with hot seat drawings where you could win an Amazon Echo Dot just for playing your favorite games. For more information, visit Tuscany Players Club for complete details. Tuscany Suites and Casinos, 2 blocks east of the Las Vegas Strip at 255 East Flamingo, where parking is also free.
Parents, you always say you want what's best for your children. If that's the case, then you should be bringing your kid to Infinity, the Math Institute, where every student earns an A or B in math. Our results are proven and they are amazing. The best tutoring service for the best price, whether online or in person, small group or one-on-one. You cannot get better results. Great grades will come when your child truly understands the math. From elementary math to calculus, we have the best tutors, the best materials, and the best results. Now offering free parent seminars on how to better help your child, what is Common Core, and more. Find out why parents are bragging and students are enjoying school again by calling 702-768-1777. That's 702-768-1777, or visit themathinstitute.com today. Tell them the Vegas Take sent you, because at Infinity, you don't get more math problems, you get solutions.
Join Coach Harvey Hyde and Chuck Hayes Saturday evenings from 9 to 10 p.m. for Trojan Football Report, presented by South Point Hotel and Casino, here on 101.5 FM and 720 AM KDWN, where Las Vegas comes to talk.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now a message from the traffic cone you ran over on Blue Diamond last week.
Okay, ow, that hurt. I know, you're in a hurry, but I could have been killed. Look, I have a wife and a baby cone on the way. I'm out there risking it all. And for what? I'll tell you, Southern Nevada's economic future. I'm helping the I-11 get built and the Centennial Bowl. So show a cone a little love.
Love the cone. For road construction details, visit seeingorangenv.com or call 702-928-CONE.
California Senator Kamala Harris is ending her bid to win the Democratic presidential nomination. She's informing her key staff members of her decision and has issued an email ending the campaign. Yesterday it was Waukesha, and today it's Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
2 people now hospitalized after an officer-involved shooting at Oshkosh West High School. Police Lieutenant Kate Mann says it all started when a student approached an officer with a weapon.
One student was injured and a school resource officer was also injured. Both were transported to local hospitals for injuries.
This is the state's second school shooting in the last 2 days.
Correspondent Bob Burnell. Duncan Hunter has pleaded guilty to misusing more than $250,000 in campaign funds. The California Republican House member faces 5 years in prison. President Trump says a trade deal with China might have to wait until after the 2020 elections. That news has sent stocks down. They've recovered some. The Dow off about 330 points at this hour. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads in the KDON Traffic Center.
This report is paid for by Doctor-Patient Unity. I-15 northbound still closed at Sahara for an ongoing accident investigation. The backup is still from the 215 Southern Beltway. Now in the mix, though, an accident reported on 15 North at Russell. Vehicles are off to the right. Also a crash on the 215 Southern Beltway eastbound at I-15 and an accident on 15 northbound at Speedway in the North Valley. As surprise medical bills bankrupt Americans, Jackie Rosen demands insurance companies pay their fair share and opposing their rate-setting proposal to cover less of your medical care. Tell Jackie Rosen thank you and keep fighting. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
This is Harry Jacobs from Credit Restoration of Nevada, inviting you to join me for the Credit Show, Saturday mornings between 9 and 10, here on the new 101.5 FM and 720 AM, KDON.
Thank you, Southern Nevada, for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
Thank you.
When you wake up and before you go to bed.
Thank you for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
A Home for Spot is a nonprofit group of dog lovers whose mission is to rescue, provide sanctuary, and ultimately to rehome abandoned, stray, and neglected dogs. To donate, foster, or adopt, go online to ahome4spot.com.
V is for victory, except on Saturdays when V is for veterans. That's Veterans Talk, The Forgotten Promise. Join us every Saturday from noon to 1.
Veterans Talk every Saturday at noon on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
At Aaron's, we love the holiday spirit. The kindness, the giving, the sharing. For us, that spirit has no season. It's always there, and those doing good all year round. That's why we approve good people other stores won't. Your credit isn't the best? Okay. Need more time to pay? Let's work it out. Want flexible payment options? Sure. Lease to own top brands. Delivery is free. Because good people always deserve better. Aaron's. Easy, beautiful, affordable.
Looking for that perfect new piece of furniture for your home? A New Concept Furniture is the place to start and end your search. They'll beat any price on the internet, and they're here locally, so you can feel what you're buying first. Go to A New Concept Furniture today at 4255 South Grand Canyon to see for yourself the slick, modern, shiny store that mirrors our shiny city. A New Concept. Check out their showroom or call them at 702-570-2240. That's 702-570-2240.
This is Kevin Malone from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Go on our website, dmvnv.com, and sign up for a MyDMV account. You can see all of your driver's license and vehicle registration records in one place and do up to 20 online transactions. dmvnv.com. You're always first in line.
consider making a really positive, lasting impact in the life of a child. I'm Molly Lathan for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southern Nevada. Our goal is to put together long-term friendships. Many people don't know that it only takes 4 to 6 hours a month. Be a role model, a support, be a wise adult sounding board, and basically just be their friend. Please visit our website at bbbsn.org and click on volunteer.
Sean Hannity, weekdays noon to 3 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
I just want to stay in the White House and work my ass off.
Yeah, $115 million playing golf. I'm not sure how much Donald Trump is literally working his ass off. I think his ass is getting bigger, if that counts. I don't know. Welcome back to the show. It's the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, our very special guest on the line is attorney Michael Avenatti, and we're taking your phone calls at 257-5396. Again, that number 702. Yep. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, let me just jump in here real quick and say that if Trump is going to stay in the White House until he works his ass off, the guy's going to serve 100 years.
That's true. You know what, Michael, quickly, I want to ask you about this, and then we'll take some calls. You know, he brags and boasts about how he doesn't take his $250,000 a year salary, but a report just comes out saying he's cost taxpayers $115 million just on his golf trips alone, and that's just in 3 years. Okay, 3 years. He used to talk about about Obama's golf trips and how he's going to be too busy to play golf. And by the way, he's profiting off of it because the Secret Service agents and all the staff that goes with him are eating and sleeping at his hotels on his golf courses. It's disgusting.
Well, it's absolutely ludicrous. Look, if he wants to go play golf, I mean, that's his business. To a point, but he certainly should not be fleecing the taxpayers for each of those golf trips, and certainly not to the tune of over $100 million. And, again, in light of what he used to say about Obama and how much golf Obama played, which is nothing compared to what Trump has played while in office, it's another example of a very rich position that the president takes.
No question. And we're also following the breaking news, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. Kamala Harris has decided to end her run for president, and she is now out of the race. So my question to you, Michael, why is it that people like Castro, Klobuchar, Williamson, Booker, Steyer, why are they still in this race?
Well, a lot of it is ego. You can get caught up in these things. And when you're traveling around the country and you're giving speeches to thousands of people, and people have, come up to you and tell you you'd make a great president and how much they support you and how excited they are that you're going to be the next president. I mean, it's intoxicating. I, witnessed some of that early on when I was running around the country and exploring it and giving speeches. It's very intoxicating. And, it's difficult to say goodbye to that, I think. Yeah. I think ego has a lot to do with it.
And that makes complete sense. If you're just joining us, we are speaking with attorney Michael Avenatti. Questions or comments for him, phone lines are open at 702-257-5396. Again, that number is 257-5396. Why don't we start off with Elle? Elle, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. You're on with Michael. Go ahead.
What's up, Elle? Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Michael, 2 quick points. I want to say, of all the books, and there have been a gazillion of them written, the one book that's the most prophetic is the one about everything Trump touches dies. Do you see how he's minimized all of these people around him? Poor Kennedy probably has been pummeled on social media, but it's sad. And look at all of them drop. But I have a question for you as well. Can you explain to us the Republican ticket? Because I'm looking at the guy who wants to run, and he says he can't. They're going to not have the elections or something. Explain how that works if you put your name up and if you want to run, and how can they step in the way of that. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure. Go ahead, Michael.
So I think what the caller is referring to is that the Republican Party changed its rules a number of months ago to basically make it more difficult for anyone to challenge Trump for the nomination. And they did that because they did not want to have a divisive process along the way, and they committed early on to back Trump for the election. And so it's certainly within their purview, the Republican Party's purview, to change the rules relating to their nominating process. And that's what they did. They changed them in such a way that it makes it very, very difficult, if not impossible, for anyone to legitimately challenge Trump for the nomination unless there was an overwhelming groundswell of support, or unless other powerful Republicans, decided that it was time to cut him loose.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Michael Avenatti. The number to call, 257-5396. Let's go to Cleopatra. She is next. You're on with Michael. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Hi,
Doing great, Cleo.
Avenatti. I hope you're doing great. I have two quick questions. First of all, I just heard the news about Kamala Harris. I'm honestly super sad. She was one of my favorites. And my question is, who do you think is going to pick up her supporters, basically? Like, who's going to benefit the most
That's a
out
good
of
question.
her
Great question,
leading
Cleo.
the race? And my second question, well, I just want to say that one of the reasons why I was so impressed with Michael Avenatti when he first came on TV in 2018 and we were introduced to him is the fact that he was able to take basically a 2-day story, the Stormy Daniels story, and really stretch it out and milk it basically and get the most out of it and, go on TV every day fighting and punching hard and giving it to the Trump administration. So the question is, who does he think out of the people that are on now that is going to be able to dominate the news like that? Because until now, we haven't seen anybody, unfortunately, that's able to fight that way. So who does he think have the most chances to be that kind of fighter?
All right, good questions.
And also, what kind of advice can he give them on how they can, steal the spotlight a little bit from Trump and make it about the Democratic nominee instead of Trump on the news all the time?
All right, we appreciate your phone call and your questions. Michael, have at it.
So I think the first question was, where do I think those supporters, Kamala Harris's supporters, are going to turn? I think, I think each candidate will benefit a little bit. My guess would be that a significant number of her supporters will probably lean towards Elizabeth Warren. That would be my guess. I think there'll be others that will lean towards Joe Biden because he enjoys a lot of support in the African American community. I think that those two will be the biggest recipients of Senator Harris's supporters. But it's tough to say. I mean, it's very early, but that would be my guess. As it relates to who do I think in the field, as a fighter akin to me, I mean, the answer to that is nobody. And that's not because there's people out there that are not fighters like I am. It's just that there's nobody in the race that really has that same skill set to the same degree that I have. I'm not that great at a lot of things, and I'm really good at other things. And one of the things I'm really good at is, that ability to, really take it to somebody. And especially, I think that I understand a lot like Trump understands how the media culture works and how to keep stories alive and how to continue to generate media interest.
Isn't that?
I think part of the problem is, frankly, the Dems need a big personality. I mean, they're running against a guy with a giant personality. Whether you love him or you hate him, he's got a giant personality and he understands the media culture and he's a brawler. And I've said a lot of bad things about him. I stand behind all of them, but I've also said, that he's brilliant, and he's very effective at other things. And I stand behind those statements as well. I mean, this guy's a big personality and he's a brawler. And I think if you want to beat somebody like that, you got to nominate somebody that is a lot like him. Now, do I think that Joe Biden's a lot like him? No. So people say, well, why are you supporting Joe Biden? Well, of the people in the race, based on my experience of talking to voters around the country, especially in the swing states, and I look at Biden, I look at his credentials, I think he's the best of who's in the race right now.
It's so interesting to hear you say, listen, I'm not great at a lot of things, but I'm good at some things and I'm not good at some things. That makes you a human being, right? I mean, you would never hear that from some politicians, including the president of the United States. It makes you a human being to say something like that. We all are good at some things and not good at others, Michael. Why do you think it is so difficult for some politicians to say things like that and just to be a human being?
Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you this. I think that's one of the reasons why Trump enjoys a lot of the support that he does, not because he admits that he's not perfect, but because of the way that he talks. Right, the way that he communicates with people, whether it's on a rally stage or otherwise. He's not a politician. He doesn't use big words. His vernacular, is very basic in many ways, and I think that appeals to a lot of people. But, I've spent a lot of time talking about the matchup of this race on your show. And look, I personally think that of everyone in the race, I'll get some criticism for this, but I don't care. I would match up better and would have a better shot of beating Donald Trump, in my view, than anybody in the race right now.
Oh, I agree.
If I was the nominee. Now, you change the opponent, you pick Romney on the other side or Rubio or, pick your Republican candidate, I'd probably get crushed, right? Because that's not necessarily a good matchup for me.
Right.
But against this guy, against Donald Trump, yeah, I would give him all he could handle, and I actually think that I could beat him. I think they need somebody that is a big personality and that can bring that's decent on television and knows how the media works and can really bring it. And I mean, that's what they need if they want to beat him.
Do you think that Donald Trump's size, he's 6'3", we'll say 230 to 340 pounds, as Brian would probably assume, but he's definitely a bigger guy. But do you think that hurts a candidate like a Pete Buttigieg, who is a smaller statured guy? And do you think a candidate like a Pete Buttigieg, who has he's a very intelligent, he speaks 7 languages, he is really, really good in front of a camera, he's very articulate and eloquent. Do you think that he could be a brawler to go up against a guy like Trump?
I have a lot of respect for Pete. I mean, I've spent some time with him. He's the brightest person in the field by far. Let me just say that. The guy's brilliant. He really is. I think he's going to have a great future. I think it's likely he's going to be president someday. I don't know that I like the matchup of him versus Trump, on a number of different levels. I think certainly the stature is an issue, that optic of putting him side by side next to Trump. I don't think that's going to play well. Pete is a fairly slight guy. It's not a knock on Pete. It's just, it's a fact. I don't think that's great. He did serve time in the military. He's a veteran. He's been in a combat situation, from what I understand. I don't think he was on the front lines, but I understand that he was in a combat situation. I think that I think in some ways he could go toe-to-toe with Trump, but I just don't love that matchup. I have questions about it, frankly.
Yeah, I would have some questions about that, too. If you're just joining us, he is Michael Avenatti, taking your phone calls, questions, comments at 257-5396. Why don't we go to Brady? Brady, you are next on the Vegas Take. You're on with Michael. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. I don't think Michael Avenatti or Mary Pete has a chance in hell of beating Trump. That's my first point. But second, the point I want to make, on December 9th, coming up is next Monday, the Horowitz report is going to be out. And some of the stuff that's been leaked already from the Horowitz report is that 9 out of the 10 FISA applications were illegally obtained from the Obama regime, the DOJ, and the FBI. Another corrupt thing, just like the Russian collusion hoax, and now this. And I think Donald Trump is going to destroy the Democrats starting on the 9th.
All right, let's let Michael respond to that. Go ahead, Michael.
Let's keep the caller on, though. Is the caller still on?
The caller is on. Brady, remain on the line.
Right.
Let's let Michael respond.
Great.
Go ahead.
Great. So first of all, Brady, I'm not going to beat Donald Trump because I'm not running. Second of all, let me ask you. Yeah, well, thank you for that. Let me know when you're going to run. But let me ask you a question. Who among the Democrats, Brady, who has the best chance or would come closest to your beloved president, Donald Trump?
Who has the best chance on the Democratic side? It's going to happen because it's going to go to a brokered convention, and good old Michael Obama is going to step out of the woodwork.
No. But Brady, you don't understand my question. Maybe here's my question: of all the Democrats out there, okay, I know it's your position. It's kind of like the Bears. Nobody would beat the Bears, like from Saturday Night Live, right? I know your position is that Trump will beat anybody and everybody, but who would come closest to beating your beloved president among the Democrats, in your opinion, Brady?
I don't think any of them have a chance. The best one would probably be Bernie Sanders.
Okay. Now let's talk about FISA applications. I don't know how much you know about the FISA court, Brady, but back in the 90s, I actually had experience with FISA applications and representing someone where a FISA application had been granted by the U.S. Supreme Court relating to what's called a black bag job, which is used in connection with trying to find individuals that are accused of committing espionage against the United States. So I've been dealing with FISA for the better part of 25 years at this point. Do you happen to know, Brady, in the history of the FISA court, in its history, do you know how many FISA applications have ever been denied in the history of the FISA court?
I don't know, probably not a whole lot, because our government loves to spy on the American people, don't they?
Okay. Well, you know what? Your answer is right. I don't know if this is still true, but a few years back, that the number of FISA applications that had been outright denied was 0 among thousands and tens of thousands. So, I love it when the Republicans want to talk about the FISA applications and what a big deal this was and how they should not have been able to get the warrant and all of this. Anyone that thinks that warrant application was going to be denied but for this information that was supposedly falsified is kidding themselves and knows nothing about the FISA court. The FISA court does not deny FISA warrant applications, period. And they've generally never denied them.
Brady?
So it's a big nothing burger. It's a big nothing burger.
One quick thing then. You're a big fan. You're saying that they'll never get denied on the FISA when they go for an application or surveil somebody. It's never denied. That's almost just like what the NSA does with every one of our phone calls. It records it in Utah in a big storage bag. I suppose you're just in favor of that also, Michael.
No. Brady, you're misunderstanding my point. I'm talking to you about the reality of whether this application was actually going to be denied. I'm not speaking to you about the merits of whether these applications should be denied. I happen to agree with you that, in fact, many of these applications are overbroad. They are brought against innocent individuals, and there should be more of a gatekeeping function. And I've always believed that for the better part of 25 years. But that's different than the reality as to whether this application would have been denied but for this allegedly falsified information.
Well, one thing is the guy or the lady who got caught falsifying the information for the evidence for the FISA application worked for Hillary Clinton. Isn't that funny again, how it all comes back to either the Clinton or the Obama regime? They're falsifying information to get a FISA surveillance on people, and you think that's cool? I don't think so.
No, Brady, I never said it's cool. Look, here's my view. If you are a federal agent and you falsify information for a warrant application, any warrant application, whether it's before the FISA court or a federal magistrate in connection with a criminal investigation, I don't care who you are, and I don't care who you work for, and I don't care who the target is, you should suffer the consequences and you should be disciplined. If you purposely falsify information in order to dig up dirt or expand a criminal investigation beyond proper bounds, there should be consequences for that. And again, I don't care if it's somebody on the right or the left. That's my view.
Well, you're going to see a lot of these people get brought up in front of the committees now because that report's coming out on the 9th. And then you also have the Durham report and Mr. Barr's report coming up by Christmas. So if I was a Democrat, I'd be real worried because a lot of people are going to be in trouble. And it all starts with Obama, Clapper, Comey, Brennan. It's all going back to the regime that opened up the coup as soon as Donald Trump took office, and they are busted.
Yeah, all right, Brady, we appreciate the phone call. I notice how he's not concerned at all about the Trump administration, all those who have gone to jail, all those who are currently under investigation, including Donald Trump's personal attorney. Michael, do you find that hard to believe?
No, I don't. He's going to support the president no matter what the president does. And, he's one of these guys that could witness the president shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. And, he'd say that the person deserved it.
You're exactly right. And by the way, Michael, for the record, he's called in before, and I've actually said that to him directly on the air. So I think we think alike when it comes to that.
7 times.
Yeah, I've said that to Brady many a times. 257-5396 is the number to call. We are joined by Michael Avenatti. Let's take another phone call. Let's go to Sharon. Sharon, you've been waiting patiently on hold. Thanks for calling in. You're on with Michael.
What's up, Sharon?
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Okay, so number one, yes, Mr. Avenatti would definitely blow Mr. Trump out of the water if he were to match up against him. My question is, I wanted your opinion overall. How do you assess how the Democrats handled the impeachment hearings? And do you see some missed opportunities there?
Go ahead, Michael.
So, I think that Adam Schiff is making a critical mistake right now in not hearing from additional witnesses, not putting Mulvaney's feet to the fire, not calling Parnas to testify. A lot of people say, well, he doesn't have any credibility. Parnas does because he's under indictment and he's been accused of doing all these things. ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you something. America's prisons are full of individuals that have been incarcerated based on the testimony of other alleged criminals, convicted criminals, individuals under indictment, et cetera. A significant portion of our justice system depends on the testimony of these individuals, and juries routinely credit that testimony when convicting various folks. So, that argument goes nowhere with me. The fact that Parnas is under indictment does not render everything that he might say unbelievable or lacking in credibility. So I think that Schiff and others are making a mistake in wrapping this up and sending it to the House or to the Senate. As soon as they send it to the Senate, they're going to lose control over it because the Republicans, of course, control the Senate. And I think they need to have all their ducks in a row to the fullest extent possible if they hope to have a shot at a conviction in the Senate, which, again, I think remains a long shot.
Why don't we try to squeeze in one more call with Michael Avenatti? Let's go to Anthony. Anthony, you're next up on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
I want to ask Michael, does he think that the problem we have in our country now is that we don't take serious the office of the president, so we'll vote for a guy who never read the Constitution, who doesn't even care about it. He says that he doesn't care about it. He doesn't read. So, does it really, is that a problem for us as Americans now that we don't take the office, as serious? Like the reason why I support Joe Biden is because in the debates, he was the only one that answered the Afghanistan question correctly. That country is split with Pakistan owning part of it. It'll never be run into one country again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was the only one that answered that. So obviously he's the man with the experience.
All right, we'll let Michael.
The office of the president.
We'll let Michael respond to that. Anthony, thank you so much for your call. Michael, we got about a minute. Go ahead.
Well, I think there's a significant disconnect between people understanding how the presidency potentially impacts their day in and day out lives. And I think that the problem is that people today really don't think that the president has a lot to do with how they live day in and day out. And there's a certain degree of truth to that, but there's also significant ways in which the president can have an impact on people's day in and day out lives. And I think that by the time people realize how much damage Trump has done to the United States, it's going to be too late. And that's especially true if he's reelected in 2020. The amount of damage that he's going to do is going to be significant, and we may never recover from it, especially as it relates to the appointment of various judges.
Sadly, I agree with you, Michael. Michael, I always appreciate it when you take some time to join us every week. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I look forward to catching you next week, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, gents.
All right, there you go.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Attorney Michael Avenatti, always gracious with his time, taking the time to join us. Coming up next, talk a little UNLV football. Remember I complained about this Ed Graney article, the sad story novel, which was complete buffoonery. We have an article that came out in the Las Vegas Sun. It's even worse. We will get to that coming up next. It's unbelievable in regards to UNLV football. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You are listening to The Vegas Take.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance.
Most people in today's economy are taking a roller coaster ride with their investments. With Vantage Point software, you can remove that dynamic from your investment strategy once and for all. Vantage Point has spent the last 3 decades perfecting an artificial intelligence process that you can put to use today to take advantage of market fluctuations and make money no matter which way the market moves. Vantage Point software analyzes massive quantities of data all around the world in seconds, so you get the information you need to make the right decisions to optimize your profits. Vantage Point is making its exclusive market forecast process available to you for free when you text MONEY to 411411. That's MONEY to 411411. We'll send you a link to your free market forecast so you take back control of your financial future. Text MONEY to 411411.
Go to VantagePointSoftware.com for terms, conditions, and privacy policy.
Hi, this is Harvey Blankfeld, host of Las Vegas Real Estate Now. Please tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. and listen to us deliver timely, balanced truths about our market right here in Southern Nevada. You know, there's nothing that I enjoy more than educating our listeners about real estate, except maybe a well-prepared Reuben sandwich where the corned beef is really lean. Sorry, I digress. But please do tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. and learn about real estate right here on the new 101.5 FM 720 AM KDON, the talk of Las Vegas.
This is Harry Jacobs from Credit Restoration of Nevada, inviting you to join me for the Credit Show, Saturday mornings between 9 and 10. Here on the new 101.5 FM and 720 AM, KDAW.
Hearing loss is a growing health issue, but did you know that an estimated 1.1 billion young people worldwide are at risk of developing the condition? Limit your exposure to loud noises and use ear protection when attending sporting events or concerts. Also, limit your earbud headphones to no more than 60 minutes at a time and at 60% of the volume. And talk to your primary care physician or other health professional to get a hearing test. Go to www.hearingloss.org. A public service message from the Hearing Loss Association of America, High Health Innovations, and this station.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Your home for Sean Hannity. KDWN Las Vegas, KKLZ HD2 Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Drops out of race. Republicans pre-buttal. I'm Mike Moss. Another Democrat is pulling out of the race for the party's presidential nomination. Correspondent Kyung Law reports Senator Kamala Harris is dropping out even as her supporters began to doubt her.
Increasingly, those words felt emptier and emptier to Democrats who felt that she was shifting too much. That's constantly what I heard from Democrats who had not yet made their decision, not yet decided in Iowa, New Hampshire, or South Carolina, that they didn't think that she was the one who was solid enough to take on Trump.
The Harris campaign has sent out an email saying it simply couldn't raise the money needed to continue. Republicans have already issued their minority report on testimony before the House Intelligence Committee regarding President Trump's dealings with Ukraine. Correspondent Phil Mattingly.
Republicans putting out their own report, essentially laying out the backbone of their defense of the president you're going to see over the course of the next couple of weeks, saying at one point, the evidence presented does not prove any of these Democrat allegations, that none of the Democrats' witnesses testified to having evidence of bribery, extortion, or any high crime or misdemeanor. It does not cede any ground that the president did anything wrong.
Now, just minutes ago, House Democrats released the report of their findings about their own investigation. Here's correspondent Manu Raju.
The House Intelligence Committee is going to vote this evening to adopt that report and then move to the House Judiciary Committee, which will open up formal impeachment proceedings in that panel. But the committee is going to detail the findings of this investigation that spanned more than 2 months, looking into the president's handling of Ukraine and detail the Democrats' case for impeachment.
On the issue of obstruction, the Intelligence Committee report says no president in history has issued an order directing the entire executive branch not to testify before Congress. The House Judiciary Committee opens hearings that could lead to articles of impeachment against President Trump beginning tomorrow. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 330 points at this hour. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads in the KDAW Traffic Center.
I-15 northbound still closed at Sahara for an ongoing accident investigation. The backup on I-15 north is from Russell Road, solid, heavy, slow and go, and stop and go. Up to you have to be detoured off, and then no slowing to report on the 95 in the East Valley. Looks good to the Spaghetti Bowl, and no delays to report 15 southbound between the Spaghetti Bowl and the Southern Beltway. Sam and Ash are the personal injury attorneys in your corner. Why? Because you deserve what's right. Visit them now at samandash.com or call 1-800-304-2000. That's 1-800-304-2000. I'm John Michaels from the KDAW Traffic Center.
This holiday season, get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
SportsX Radio Nation, what's up? It's Ken Thompson, host of SportsX Radio, reminding you to catch me at my new time, 8 to 10 p.m. for all the local Vegas sports coverage, plus the national scene as well. That's SportsX Radio on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
Hey, I'm Kelly, and I am Westar Credit Union. You may not have heard of us, and that's okay. Our team has the same products and services you'd find at one of the bigger banks, and we're small enough to know you by name. At Westar, we're not about flashy football TV ads or big intimidating voiceovers. We're here for you. Wherever you are on your financial journey, Westar Credit Union is where you matter. Check us out, westar.org/join.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who owes back taxes, if you get nervous when the mail comes because you might get a letter from the IRS, then you've heard. Their enforcement agents are cracking down this year and can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts. Even your home or business could be at risk over unpaid taxes. It's all true, but it's also true there's a way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative, an important government program for tax debt assistance. The award-winning experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best deal possible, protecting your paycheck and your assets from IRS collections. But don't delay, because the IRS is tacking on interest and hefty penalties every single day. So don't wait until it's too late. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Tina Trenner is back, and she's on 720 AM, 1015 FM, KDWN every Sunday at 12 p.m. She's sick of the nonsense and has something to say every Sunday at 12 p.m.
1015 FM, 720 AM, KDON, the talk of Las Vegas. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, rolling out the red carpet for hour number 3, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could be here. By the way, a reminder on the show tomorrow, Stretch Sanders will be joining us. Plenty of news, always with Stretch, so he'll be joining us in hour number 2 tomorrow. But if you recall, if you were listening to the show yesterday, maybe you were not, I'll give you a quick little update. We were talking a little UNLV football, and not all, but some media members, some who write articles, particularly yesterday, we were talking about Ed Graney's article in the Review Journal, where Ed is talking about the UNLV football program, the firing of Tony Sanchez, and Ed Graney said in his article that Tony Sanchez did everything but win, which is a completely ridiculous statement, right? Any logical person would say that is complete buffoonery. There weren't people in the stands. There weren't people supporting the program except for maybe his personal relationship with some billionaires. Other than that, people were not supporting the program. He was not recruiting at a high level. Oh, yeah, he definitely wasn't winning. So Ed Graney's right about that. And last I checked in D1 football, that's what the number one priority is. It's winning. Yeah, it's nice when your kids get through school with a good grade point average, but what do boosters and fans really care about the most when it comes to Division I football? They want your team to win football games, and Tony Sanchez failed at that year in and year out. Now, after and I don't read many articles in the Journal, trust me, but after I read that article, I was just so befuddled by it. We spoke about it yesterday. It actually sounded like a sad story novel, like a romantic novel. It was ridiculous. I didn't think it could get worse than that. I really didn't. JD, did you think it could get worse than that article that Ed Graney wrote yesterday about Tony Sanchez?
I wasn't certain, but honestly, you just don't know these days, Brian. You just really don't know what people are capable of.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the circus continues. This is an article that was written by Ray Brewer of the Las Vegas Sun. This is Ray Brewer of the Las Vegas Sun. The article is written that says Tony Sanchez was the right guy at the right time for UNLV football.
Hey, so what does this music indicate, Brian?
That it's a circus, which is what I just said. It's a circus.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll get some clowns juggling balls in a second.
All right, we better.
This is Ray Brewer from the Las Vegas Sun. In his article, he says, what Tony Sanchez was able to accomplish at UNLV is nothing short of phenomenal. Yes, that's right. He used the word phenomenal. This is the sentence that really gets me, JD. Don't let the 19-40 record through 5 seasons and no bowl game appearances fool you. Okay, hold on. Let me read that sentence again. Let that soak in a little bit. Don't let the 19-40 record through 5 seasons and no bowl game appearances fool you. Okay, I'm interested now, Ray. Let's find out what you mean about this with this circus of an article. He says he got a university, one whose athletic success over the years was mostly in basketball. Well, not over the last 10 years, Ray. And whose football program always took a backseat to firmly invest in football for one of the first times. Eventually, the Rebels will be a winner. Oh, really? When's that going to be? Well, Ray says, when that day comes, he doesn't say when it's going to come. He says, when that day comes, let's not forget about the man whose vision got the ball rolling. JD, help me out on this. He also says, but let's not call his run a failure. He's leaving the program in great shape for the next guy, better than it's ever been. By the way, the last 2 years, they've been 4-8. I'll just add that in there. How's the recruiting looking? Do they have a quarterback next year? Do they have a running back, a quality running back? Do they have a defensive line?
I will say this. Kenyon Oblad did win the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week.
Yes, he did. Because he beat a bad Nevada team. Yeah,
he was the first one to do it since, I believe, 2014.
Hold on. The circus.
If I'm not correct.
The circus continues. Please keep the music going, folks. Please. This is in Ray Brewer's article. He says Sanchez was the right person at the right time for UNLV. Modernizing the program by instituting some of the basics, such as fundraising for a nutrition table, for after-practice meals, or securing funds so players can enroll in summer school to start training for the new season. And, of course, delivering on his promise for the new state-of-the-art complex. Yes, he did do that, but not because Tony Sanchez is a billionaire, because of his relationships, because he knows people that are billionaires. Maybe he should be an athletic director.
The more and more I hear about Sanchez, the more and more I think he would be an outstanding athletic director, in fact.
Those things are commonplace at the programs UNLV hopes to become. But until Sanchez came, nobody was able to fix what was broke. Nobody. Yeah, and nobody still has been able to fix what was broke because they can't win frickin' football games. He said he's the right person. He was the right guy at the time for UNLV football. He used the term of Sanchez being nothing short of phenomenal. And don't let the 19-14 record through 5 seasons and no bowl game appearances fool you. What a circus with some people that write in this town. It's just unbelievable. By the way, for all the full disclosure, I've met Ray Brewer before several times. He actually did my show before, and we used to debate about UNLV. He's a stand-up guy. He's not a bad guy. He's a nice guy. This is just another. And by the way, I wouldn't say that about other people. Ray Brewer's a good guy, but this is a ridiculous article. He is a complete UNLV homer. He also said last year, at the end of last year, weeks before Marvin Menzies was fired, that Marvin Menzies deserved at least maybe 1 or 2 years more. Another ridiculous comment. Ray Brewer was another person who thought that Dave Rice should have got a contract extension. He is a complete homer. This is a completely ridiculous article. And just the fact that he writes in his article in the first few sentences, don't let a 19-40 record through 5 seasons, no bowl game appearances fool you.
Brian, what
is all you need to know about him in this article.
What is that percentage? Well, what is 19 out of 59?
If my math is correct, I believe that is a tad under 50. Under what?
No, it's under 33%.
33. Yeah. See, my math is off. So he's under 33% for wins. He never got the team to a bowl game, but Brewer is talking about a nutrition regiment. If people want to talk about the complex and everything, that's great. Ed Graney yesterday, in his article that he wrote, speaking about Tony Sanchez, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Ed Graney that said he did everything but win. So Ed Graney in the Review-Journal says Tony Sanchez did everything but win. Ray Brewer from the Las Vegas Sun says what Tony Sanchez did was nothing short of phenomenal, and don't let the 19-40 record through 5 seasons fool you. Why are there buffoons in this town that write these types of articles? Our producer Jason Stein is now joining us in studio to talk a little bit about
Mr. Brewer, he might not want to come on your show anymore. He responded. We put up a post on Twitter about this. Hey, we're going to talk about this story from Ray Brewer of the Las Vegas Sun. He wrote back seconds later, wrote this 8 days ago. If you're going to troll me, then get into a social media dispute if you're going to troll me to get into a social media dispute to enhance your silent voice in this market, at least make it timely. Now, I know you got something to say about that. I want to remind our viewers our listeners that
both listeners
and viewers. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
we have YouTube.
Absolutely.
That when the news of Sanchez's firing broke, most of us weren't even here, and we haven't had a chance to digest it and talk about everything that was written in the local media. Second of all, it's on the internet. Who cares if it was 8 days ago? It's out there, and we're talking about it now. And if it's irrelevant, then take it down off your webpage.
And by the way,
well said, Stein. Well said.
And by the way, this isn't social media. We're talking on the radio right now. So, and he would have been welcome to come on and talk about it. Of course, he's not going to do it because he's going to go on the network or the stations that kiss his ass and kiss UNLV. Well, guess what? We don't do that. We speak the truth and we are honest. And as far as not having a voice in this market, if you want to talk about not having a voice, I'd rather talk about a 50,000-watt radio station in KDWN with a lot of history than the Las Vegas Sun. Isn't the Las Vegas Sun one of those newspapers where you could get them free on the corner? I mean, I don't know.
No, it's an insert.
Oh, it is. Okay. So
they insert it into the Review-Journal.
If he wants to talk about a weekly article about high school football or a weekly article about UNLV football, who's more irrelevant, Ray? If you want to make a comment like that, you would have been fine coming on this show, and we could have had a respectful debate debate. But if you want to strike that attitude, your articles are buffoonery. They're ridiculous.
Are we getting into a reaching contest right now? Is that what's going on?
No, it's a joke. Your articles are ridiculous, Ray. Okay,
And we're not trolling him just because
this isn't a troll.
Just because you
Well,
tag.
he's making it seem like we're trying to call him out to create some type of confrontation
No.
to draw attention to ourselves. Bottom line, Ray, we think this article is ridiculous.
When we post your article, we're going to give you credit for it. We're going to tag you. That's how
it.
social media works. And I'm not trying to get into a fight with that. I don't have time for that. We were letting people know this is what we're going to talk about, and here's who wrote it.
Yeah, you're not special, Ray.
That's it.
Okay, we have a right to criticize your article, just like we criticized Ed Graney's article yesterday. They're both ridiculous.
I just don't understand. I mean, unless you're getting, and even if you're getting paid a lot of money by UNLV, and I'm not saying that's the case, but why would you try to it's like they're trying to sensationalize this and just make it something that gets a really big dramatic ordeal for content purposes, and it's totally defeating the purpose of what the article needs to accomplish, which is the fact that Tony Sanchez was fired for a reason. Yeah, he had a relationship with the Fertittas, and that's outstanding, but the guy didn't win games. He was, and what he should be saying is that if you really back Tony Sanchez like that, then say, hey, this guy was put into a position, a lose-lose situation. He was a high school coach who had no experience whatsoever, coming from behind in big games. He always had the best talent possible. He goes into this conference, this Mountain West Conference, with this team that has never won anything except the Randall Cunningham era.
Yeah,
and he's expected to do well. Why don't you say that if you really want to defend Tony Sanchez? Say, hey, the higher ups at UNLV did not put him in a position to be successful. Because in my opinion, they did not.
But let's go back to what Ray just said. The guy who writes an article about UNLV football, who says what Tony Sanchez did was nothing short of phenomenal, who says don't let the 19-40 record through 5 seasons fool you, is the guy that's saying that we don't have a relevant voice in this town. Ray, is it true that that's what Ray Brewer said?
That's what he wrote.
Is that what he's
That's
trying
what he
to say?
responded to us on social
This is
media.
the same guy who wanted Dave Rice to get a contract extension. This is the same guy who thought Marvin Menzies last year deserved at least 1 or 2 more seasons. And he also said that Marvin Menzies was doing a fantastic job. This is a guy who's never said anything negative, as far as I can recall, about UNLV football or UNLV basketball. This is a guy who has literally, in my recollection, never criticized the football or basketball program, like ever. It is your responsibility as an opinionated, whether it's an opinionated, whatever you are, reporter, journalist. I don't even know what Ray Brewer is. I would call him an opinionated homer. That's what I would call him. He is a homer for UNLV.
Did you get to that part in the story? I missed it. Did you get to the part about the nutrition table?
Yeah. He actually brought up nutrition. That's what he said. He said he brought up fundraising for a nutrition table for after practice meals.
What's a nutrition table? Literally a table like where you put food on it?
I think it's like a buffet, like a spread for the players that's probably nutritious and it's good for their
the players are eating. The players ate better under Tony Sanchez, and then they ate under the guy before him.
I guess that's what he's saying.
Okay, well that is a success.
But the media continues to eat terribly.
That's what people want.
Well, it makes you're downplaying the program. What Division I program doesn't have that? You're making it seem like it's Abilene Christian or Texas State, for example. What Division I program, not even in a Power 5 conference, but even in a semi-respected conference like the Mountain West, doesn't have a freaking nutrition table for their players?
It's just ridiculous.
That's insane. These kids are 18 to 22 years old. They're all developing. They're all growing. Why would you not want them to eat healthy? Why is this such an accomplishment, Ray?
And why is it that there are some members of the media in this town that they just cannot be criticized? Because God forbid if somebody criticizes one of their articles or disagrees with an opinion, they consider it to be, oh my God, I don't want to get into a battle on social media. Oh, geez.
No, he's coming off as holier than thou, and that we are trying to use him to garner attention to ourselves.
Yeah, he gives his opinion for a living. And we're giving our opinion for a living. And so it's all fair game. By the way, we did send him a note. Our social media coordinator, Alex.
Oh, good. What did he say?
Sent him a note just saying, would you like to come on the show and talk about it?
There we go. That's solid,
We're
Alex.
happy. We'll talk to anybody,
and you know
right?
what?
We'll talk to OJ. We'll talk to
if he came on the show. And by the way, Ray has done my show before. It's been a few years, but he's done my show before.
It's not personal.
We always had respectful conversations, and I can assure you that if he came on our show again, as long as he was respectful to us, we would absolutely be respectful to him. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't, that I would defend his article because I think his article is ridiculous. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't go after him and with some of his opinions and find out why a 19-40 record should not fool you.
It's an apologist article. Both his and Ed Graney's articles were apologist articles.
It's absurd. Yeah. If you're going to bring up the only thing, which is of big significance to me anyway, is the Fertitta money. It's because of the relationship Tony Sanchez had with the Fertittas, and that should not be a reason for hiring a coach or keeping a coach here. I'm sorry, it shouldn't.
I want to know a stat. I want to know how many times they have come from behind when either down 7 or when they've lost the lead up 7, out of the 59 games that he's coached. I can almost guarantee it's less than 5 or 10%. He was one of the worst second-half coaches in college football the last 4 years.
And here's something else. He brings up beating Reno. Reno is not a good football team, okay? They beat Reno. They're making it like they beat Alabama, okay? Yeah, it's nice that they beat Reno. And by the way, that was not a very significant game for Reno because last I checked, Reno's bowl eligible, and UNLV is not. It was not one of those games that Reno had to win to be bowl eligible. If it was, that would have been a different circumstance.
Reno did beat Purdue.
So stop it with this nonsense that, well, he beat Reno, and that's the reason. He's making the case that they should have kept him.
Well, UNLV got that cannon, and they got to paint it red.
Yeah.
By the way, just a side note, do they travel with that cannon?
I don't know.
Like if they would have lost, so they had to like hand the cannon over immediately?
I don't know.
Okay.
And then Ray Brewer goes into the academic progress. Same thing that Tony Sanchez did. Going into the academic process, talking about nutrition, okay? Will you stop it with this buffoonery and nonsense? The number one thing that a coach is hired to do at a university, I don't care if it's the volleyball team or the golf team or the football program, you are hired to win. Bobby Houck was fired. He got us to at least one bowl game, last coach here. And this guy, Tony Sanchez, who, by the way, I like, who was a good guy, and I've always said that about him. And Ray Brewer covers high school sports. So I would imagine that Ray Brewer had a personal relationship with Tony Sanchez as well. And there's nothing wrong with that.
We like him too.
And I congratulated Tony Sanchez after his win over the weekend. He always would come on our show. Every time I asked him, he never said no, except for this time. And I totally understand why. He's done with UNLV. And I respect that completely. But the point I'm trying to make is you can have a personal relationship with a coach. You could like a coach and be even friends with a coach and still be able to criticize a coach. Ray Brewer has never criticized Tony Sanchez. To my recollection, he never criticized Marvin Menzies and Dave Rice. And that is a joke. And he also did not criticize UNLV for not keeping Lon Kruger. Ray Brewer is a homer. Okay? And if you're if you're a UNLV fan and you do that sort of thing, there's nothing wrong with that. And I understand it. But when you write articles,
when you're employed to give an honest angle and opinion, and specific people that listen to what you write and they believe the things you say are being literally polluted by the ridiculous statements you're making about these teams that just really are not that good, it's a problem.
Johnny,
let me ask you this: Did anyone from the Review Journal say anything negative about not giving Mike Miller an interview before they hired T.J. Altenberg? And how can you not under those circumstances?
Let's play some circus music again, please. Jason, can you read that response from Ray Brewer, please? Give me the response of Ray Brewer when we invited him to come on today.
All right, hang on.
I want his immediate. And by the way, in his article in the Vegas Sun, Ray Brewer said, "Don't let the 19-40 record through 5 seasons and no bowl game appearances fool you." I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep reading that over and over again. It's even more ridiculous than Ed Grady said he did everything but win. It's so ridiculous.
To which he responded on Twitter, "Wrote this 8 days ago. If you are going to troll me to get into a social media dispute to enhance your silent voice in this market, at least make it timely." And by the way, Alex, our social media coordinator, says that still no response from Brewer. But he did get back very quickly after we posted that.
Yeah, I think we'll find something. We'll hear something soon.
Hey, Ray.
So.
Hey, Ray, I was on vacation last week, buddy. Okay, sorry if I don't immediately read one of your articles, because, don't get me wrong. As soon as you write an article about UNLV, I'm immediately buying that newspaper. Don't get me wrong.
Sorry, Ray Brewer. I just happened to see it last night for the first time. It must have gotten buried. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize, Ray.
I don't go right to your column first thing in the morning. I read the front page, and I look at CNN and New York Times and stuff. And then, Vegas Sun's down there a little bit. I mean, no offense.
You're option like 87 for me, Ray. I was, being the Caucasian male that I am, I was hanging my Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving. I did not get to read your stuff.
A commonplace at UNLV's program, but until Sanchez came, nobody was able to fix what was broke. No, let me explain to you, Ray, what's broke. The team doesn't win. They're bad. They don't make bowl games. You could have all the best facilities in the world. What's broken is not the facilities. What's broken is you don't have a competent coaching staff that can win football games and recruit. That's what's wrong, Ray. And to any obvious human being that is not biased, they would agree with me. And to anybody that is a homer like you, who is either not honest or completely biased or both, they will agree with you, okay? But the bottom line is Tony Sanchez is not the coach here anymore. And if he was the right guy for the job at the right time, and if he did nothing short of phenomenal, guess what? Francois would not have fired him. If he did a what athletic, I can't even believe I have to say this on the radio. What athletic director fires a coach that's doing a phenomenal job? unless they're molesting children or breaking the law. What other athletic director fires a coach for doing a phenomenal job? I guess Francois was fooled, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, I mean, if anything, it's actually more of a subtle shot at Francois. Both these articles are.
No, because he's never criticized the UNLV athletic director either.
But he doesn't even realize that he's doing it by saying, "Oh, these guys. He was a phenomenal coach. He did everything but win. Why'd you fire him? Why AD did you fire him?" I mean, so it is taking a jab at Francois for.
All right, hold on. Can I just say
making the wrong fire?
Yeah. All right, we can cut the music now because it's making me feel like Jerry Sandusky's in the room. So let's please cut
me too, I'm tired of
let's
it.
cut the circus
All
music.
I can think about is it now.
The reason why we're playing that music is because it is a circus. Because some people think it's okay.
It's silly
for a coach to be 19-40, and they call that nothing short of phenomenal. That's what Ray Brewer said.
You know, if I got 19 out of 40 right or 19 out of 59 right on a test, I would get an F.
When they hire these coaches, it's about wins, right? Bottom line. When they hired him I wasn't here, but when they hired him 5 years ago, or they hire any coach, right? They say, hey, your number one job is to turn this program around.
Right, I would assume so.
Right? I mean, your number one job is to get us wins, to get us to a bowl game.
Right.
You know, measurable things, right? We got to have some signature wins. We got to get to a bowl game, etc. In those interviews, like the nutrition table and academics and stuff like that, I mean, that probably comes up, but it's not.
Let me open
it's not
up.
like the priority,
it's
right?
definitely not paramount.
Let me open up.
By any
If
stretch.
anybody wants to call in, maybe you think I'm wrong on this. Maybe you think Ray Brewer did a great job in this article. You can give us a call. I'll hear you out.
Or you know, Stein, it's not.
Let me give out the number real quick.
Okay.
702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the program is 257-5396.
See, I went to the University of Wisconsin, so they're perennial winners in every sport.
Right. I went to Iowa.
In every sport. You went to Iowa, right?
Right.
I really feel, and I like UNLV, and I've been to a couple games so far, and I would love to see them win.
I mean,
Man, it's got to be frustrating to be a fan of this team.
That stadium is a dump.
Yeah.
And a jaunt.
I mean,
that stadium was a total embarrassment.
Ed Graney in the RJ yesterday said Tony Sanchez did everything but win, and I didn't think it could get worse than that. Ray Brewer said everything he did was nothing short of phenomenal, and then he says, don't let the 19-40 record fool you.
And it's really funny because there's like 50 bowl games.
It's just ridiculous.
100 teams make bowl games. And
like a Cheez-It Bowl, Beef O'Brady.
Yeah. Last I checked,
the Vegas Tech Bowl.
Last I checked, the Mountain West Conference is not a powerhouse. Last I checked, there's a few decent teams. It's not a powerhouse we're in. Okay,
I mean, Boise State has been good for a long time.
Ray Brewer
they've dominated the conference.
Ray Brewer, I'm not going to let your record of horrible articles fool me. What you've done in your career is nothing short of phenomenal. I just want to make that clear. And by the way, we have invited you on the show. You have declined while insulting us. So that's fine. If you're
solid form.
Yeah. If you're insecure with your articles, if you're article insecure, that's not our problem.
Why can't you come on and defend yourself? You know, why can't you say this is why I believe what I believe?
Because the only shows
to have that debate. Well,
I'll tell you why. We got to take a break.
Capable of it.
I'll tell you why. We got to take a break. It's very simple. He'll only go on the shows that kiss his ass and won't ask him hard questions. That's why. That's why.
That is not how you gain intelligence, sir.
Was the carnival music too much?
I don't know. It might
have
been.
Was that the breaking point?
No, I don't know. Maybe it was. We got to take a break. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back after this. There is an issue with a puppet that Terry Fator has used, and it has something to do with politics. We'll explain coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Our best vapor yet at our best price ever, 99 cents, plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pods sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
I'm attorney Glenn Lerner. Some people don't want to hire a lawyer after a car wreck because they feel sorry for the person who hit them. They think the at-fault driver will be the one who actually has to pay.
I'm Kevin Rowe, and the truth is, in most cases we handle, the insurance company pays for the at-fault driver's lawyers, court costs, settlement, or verdict. The at-fault driver doesn't pay anything. In court, the jury is never allowed to hear this. Hurt in a wreck? Need a check? Call Lerner and Rowe.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 877-1500.
Scott Guido, managing attorney. Kevin Rowe is only licensed in Arizona, New Mexico, Oregon, Washington, and Illinois.
Does your child love math? Do they just love math so much that once they finish their homework, they want to work on extra math problems just for fun? Anyone? If you answered no, then you are not alone. While your child may not think math is important for their future, we know better. That's because Infinity the Math Institute offers the best math tutors in Las Vegas, produces the best results at the best prices for kids of all ages. Infinity the Math Institute does it all. Does your child need prep for the SATs? Right now, SAT preparation classes in November are just $15. Fractions, algebra, geometry, decimals, you name it. Plus, Infinity offers homeschool programs, free seminars for parents and students. And whether your child is transitioning from elementary school to middle school to high school, or preparing for college, Infinity can help. Classes are filling up. Call us now to find out more. 702-768-1777. That's 768-1777. You want the best results for your child? One call to Infinity can have a huge impact on your child's future. Call now. 768-1777. Tell them the Vegas Take sent you.
Hi, this is Trooper Chelsea Stunkel with the Nevada Highway Patrol, reminding drivers that with the recent legalization of recreational use of marijuana, it is still a form of impairment when you get behind the wheel. So please don't drive impaired. If you drive high, you will get a DUI.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Hill with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Children love to play, but did you know play is important for healthy brain development? Play helps children learn language, math, and social skills, and lowers stress. This is good for kids and their parents. The next time your child wants to play with you, say yes. It's one of the best parts of being a parent. For more information on child development, visit healthychildren.org or talk with your pediatrician.
Las Vegas's only FM news talk station is right here. The new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
The House Intelligence Committee has just released its report on President Trump's dealings with Ukraine. Correspondent Manu Rajan.
They say in here the evidence of the president's misconduct is overwhelming, and so too is the evidence of obstruction of Congress. Indeed, it would be hard to imagine a stronger or more complete case of obstruction demonstrated by the president since the inquiry began.
California Senator Kamala Harris has ended her campaign for the presidency. More from correspondent Hyung Law.
A source in the Kamala Harris Iowa campaign tells me that she just couldn't afford to pay her staffers, that she wasn't going to run in the red, that she doesn't have billions of dollars to finance her own campaign, that she relied on the donations of supporters, and that money simply wasn't coming in quickly enough.
California Congressman Duncan Hunter faces 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to misusing campaign money. The Dow down 360. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads in the KDON Traffic Center.
This report sponsored by Sam and Ash. I-15 northbound still closed at Sahara, the backup from Russell Road. Avoid I-15 northbound. No delays I-15 southbound. And no estimated time on reopening I-15 northbound at this point. The accident investigation continues. No slowing on the Southern Beltway east side or west side. There is a crash reported Rampart at Alta Drive. Injuries sustained. Watch for police and fire at the scene. Hurt in an accident, you deserve full compensation, and most importantly, you deserve what's right. You need Sam and Ash. Visit them now at samandash.com or call 1-800-304-2000. That's 1-800-304-2000. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Do you know if you have enough savings to retire comfortably? If not, it's time to talk to Travis Scribner, managing partner of Westpac Wealth Partners, about developing a plan to build your wealth for the future. Visit LasVegasMoneyResource.com.
They say the holidays are the most stressful time of the year, but not for me, man. I love the holidays. Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress. But if the holidays have you feeling a bit funky, good news. At our Best Mattress holiday sale, save hundreds on all our best brands: Serta, Sealy, Beautyrest, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. And if you're racking your brain for a gift idea, bundle and save 25% on Pure Care bedding essentials. Plus, get up to 72 months, no interest financing. Best Mattress. Sleep easy, friends.
Hi, this is Harvey Blankfeld, host of Las Vegas Real Estate Now. We are saying farewell to Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and moving to Saturdays at 11 a.m. Please do tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. and learn about real estate right here on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, the talk of Las Vegas.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. And we give you this magic music, which will inspire the perfect hire to begin clog dancing. Okay, there's no magic music, but skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site.
Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for that perfect new piece of furniture for your home? A New Concept Furniture is the place to start and end your search. They'll beat any price on the internet, and they're here locally, so you can feel what you're buying first. Go to A New Concept Furniture today at 4255 South Grand Canyon to see for yourself the slick, modern, shiny store that mirrors our shiny city. A New Concept. Check out their showroom or call them at 702-570-2240. That's 702-570-2240.
My name is Tim Mullen. I'm the Center Director for USO Las Vegas. We rely heavily on our volunteers. They're the heart and soul of our organizations, the one on the front lines greeting our service members and their guests, whether it's through our lounges at the airport or all the outreach events that we do on base. So we encourage anyone interested in getting involved to volunteer with the USO and then support our local military community. Our service members and their families can use your help. You can get involved by going online to volunteers.uso.org or calling us at 702-261-6590.
Rich is just a really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
Because that was one of the greatest non-answers I've ever heard.
All right, welcome back. It's the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. Reminder, tomorrow on the show, the minister himself, Stretch Sanders, will be in studio. He is holding, I'm not going to call it a rally, it's a protest on MLK Day, right? And he is planning on shutting down Fremont Street. So we'll be joined by him tomorrow, talking a little bit about that. Also, former NBA referee, and, well, he went to prison for a little while for allegedly fixing games, although he claims he didn't fix games. He was just involved with the wrong people gambling on games. That would be Tim Donaghy will be joining us. And the reason why Tim is joining us, because we got this issue in the NFL now with this player, Josh Shaw, who apparently bet on his own NFL football game. So Tim Donaghy, the perfect person to come on tomorrow to talk a little bit about that. We were talking about the UNLV situation, the Ray Brewer article, the Ed Graney article, the buffoonery in these articles where Ed Graney said that Tony Sanchez did everything here but win. And Ray Brewer has an article out where he said, don't let the 19-40 record fool you. Tony Sanchez did nothing short of phenomenal when he was here. And then he talked a little bit about naming some of the things that Sanchez did. Nutrition, some sort of Stein. Tell me a little more about this.
He cited the nutrition table specifically. And I mean, I don't know exactly what that is. And he didn't really elaborate in his story. But I assume it's a table where after the game, the athletes get food.
It sounds like a nice, formal, presentable way of saying we feed our players.
We feed our players, but they always did, right? Was it better?
I guess UNLV did
they
not.
used to be eating junk food, like
maybe
table full of Chick-fil-A and
maybe they fed
fishes
them,
like Trump had at the White House.
They have a big deal with CCs, so maybe they fed them 4-day-old CCs like they feed us.
Maybe,
and that changed under Tony Sanchez.
CC's is at the basketball.
All I know is I've seen the UNLV football players eating Raising Cane's chicken. I'm not sure that's the most healthy meal after a game, but anyway.
Yeah. Listener Justin says to that nutrition table remark, even and this guy used to play baseball, I guess. Even in the minor leagues, we got food for free for the players. It's called trade, or at least cash/trade. If they can't get good food through a partnership, then they need to look hard at their deal.
Justin, we appreciate that comment. You're absolutely right,
Yeah,
by
good
the
work,
way.
Justin.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, so moving on. Hey, Ray Brewer, you're welcome to come on our show anytime. If you want to cower it out, that's quite. I guess we have just too small of an audience for you, Ray, because you're a guy that covers high school football, and there's not many of you around anymore. So we understand if you're too busy. Anyway, moving on, we will go to Terry Fator. Now, I'm a big Terry Fator fan, as you know. What would you call him? A puppeteer, a ventriloquist? He's very
Ventriloquist.
good. He's exceptional. He's very good, and I've seen his show, and he does a really good job. And he's actually a really nice guy too. So Stein, there's this controversy, I guess you could call it, where he had a Donald Trump puppet in his show, and then it was pulled from the show. Tell us what's going on here.
All right. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is a one-day-old article from the Review Journal.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's okay. It's still relevant to talk about.
Hopefully.
We didn't get to it yesterday, but we're doing it now.
It's not quite ripe yet.
Yeah, this is from the Review Journal dated December 2nd at 1:23 p.m. So we're almost 24 hours old with this.
That's reasonable.
And I know Ray Brewer's got a problem with when you talk about things that are like a little bit old. But anyway, this Terry Fator. So he's got his own theater, right, at the Mirage.
Yes,
because it's
correct.
named the Terry Fator Theater. He's He's a star ventriloquist where he won America's Got Talent or something like that. So he's
very good.
He's very good at what he does. He brings in a lot of people. Well, apparently over the weekend on Saturday night, he was asked in his theater. He was asked why the Donald Trump figure was not in his new Christmas themed show, A Very Terry Christmas 2, the sequel. He answered to the person who asked him that it was kind of one of those things where the Mirage came to me and they've never told me what to do ever, but they asked politely. And when they asked politely, I said I would do it. So now he's backtracking now. He's saying, I'm clarifying those comments about taking Donald Trump out of my show. It was a miscommunication between my team and me where somehow someone from my team, they thought the Mirage would be happy if the show were less political. The Mirage didn't ask me to make any changes to my show. You say that this is absolutely
So
did
why
not
doesn't he bring
happen.
it back?
It's a miscommunication.
So why doesn't he bring it back then?
Well, he said he told the Review Journal he could. He said he could bring it back anytime he wants.
Why hasn't he?
And in fact, no, Brian, he's going to be performing with the Trump figure on Fox and Friends Friday morning at 5 a.m.
Better be.
But is he performing with that puppet, the Trump puppet?
Yeah, with the Trump
in his
puppet.
Vegas show.
Well, that's not clear. But he did tell the Review Journal that he could bring it back anytime he wants. But then he did add, probably he'll bring it back when Trump is out of office, whenever that is, because I think emotions need to simmer down. I want jokes about him building golf courses and Trump towers.
See,
so, it remains to be seen.
Okay, well, who do you believe here? What do you think really happened?
I think that someone probably from the Mirage did ask him to tone it down and take the Trump puppet out,
which is ridiculous.
And he did. And then that didn't look so good, so he clarified his comments. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I have no idea what happened.
Look,
maybe it was one of his staff members, and maybe there was a miscommunication. I don't know.
Look, we are very divided as a country. That's clear. Probably half of us, estimation, hate Trump, and half of us love Trump.
I'm going to say it's 65-35 love hate.
I completely disagree with that based on the voter and the percentages of the polls. I completely disagree with you there. I think we're very divided as a country regardless. I don't care whether you hate Trump or you like Trump. What is your problem with having a very, very talented guy have a Donald Trump puppet? It's comedy. It's supposed to be funny.
Have you seen him perform with the Trump puppet?
I have not.
Because I would say it would matter what he's doing with the Trump, like what kinds of things he's making the Donald Trump puppet say. Because you have to think about, this guy, a lot of money's at stake, right? And people coming from Vegas from all over, from Trump country, right? From all those red states are coming to Vegas.
Are people coming in from Laughlin? Yeah, you're probably right.
Probably.
Oh.
And other places. And they're coming in, they want to see a fun show on the Strip. Right? They pay top dollar for this guy.
To me,
and then he's sitting there making fun of President Trump.
You know what?
I could see where they wouldn't want that in their show.
What? If you had a Jimmy
But
Carter,
I don't know what he's doing with it.
If you had a Bill Clinton puppet and you did the Bill Clinton voice and you made fun of
Nothing
his
would offend
womanizing,
me, but that's me.
I would find that funny just as much as Donald Trump. People are just so damn sensitive. I'm so tired of it. I really am. It's one thing when the president of the United States insults people because he's the leader of the free world. We're talking about comedy here. Donald Trump is not a comedian, okay? Terry Fator is a comedian, and he's an entertainer. Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
I would say that Donald Trump has been an entertainer for a large part of his life. But right now,
it is not your job.
He certainly is the commander-in-chief, which probably does not fall into the entertainer category.
It doesn't. The president of the United States, it's not his job to entertain people. It is his job to run the country to the best of his ability.
Unless you're a foreign dignitary.
Fator is planning to move forward with a web series, though, co-starring the Trump figure and a Bernie Sanders puppet, performing sort of a Statler and Waldorf commentary routine.
You don't need a puppet.
You would see on the Muppet
just
Show.
Invite Larry. Just invite Larry David to your show. You don't need a puppet for that.
This isn't Trumpy Bear, right?
Trumpy Bear is a whole other thing.
Okay,
Have you seen the Trumpy Bear?
Trumpy Bear is awesome.
Trumpy Bear is a bear that's being sold on television that carries an American flag in its backpack. And you can snuggle with Trumpy Bear and take him golfing and so forth.
By the way, when I was in Laughlin, I bought a Trump pen. It says,
where's that at?
It's at my place now.
Get it here.
It says 8 different Trump sayings. I'm going to be the best president ever. God brought me here, and I'm going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. 8 sayings.
So do you fall asleep to that at night now?
No, I don't fall asleep to it. I wish I could fall asleep to his daughter at night because she's very attractive. But that's another story for another show. But no, if I was going to fall asleep to anything, it would certainly not be Donald Trump, that's for sure. That would not be it. If I was going to fall asleep to anything in the world, maybe it'd be InfoWars, maybe it'd be that guy's show, or something along those lines.
Remember when President Trump went through that phase where he was complimenting his daughter Ivanka like a lot?
I remember.
And remember everyone thought it was really creepy because he was kind of crossing a line.
If she wasn't my daughter, I would date her. That's what he said.
He
which
really
is
pulled
bizarre.
back on that in the last few years, hasn't he?
That was a very bizarre comment that he made about his daughter that I've never heard a father ever say. I've heard fathers say, gosh, my daughter's so beautiful, she's, and so on and so forth.
Unless your father's Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. But he talks about her body. He's talked about her body before.
Yeah.
And he said that he would date her if she wasn't his daughter. I find that to be pretty gross.
That was only part of it. There were other comments.
He's made plenty of other comments.
Well, maybe his version of saying I have a very beautiful daughter is, I would date my daughter.
So I guess
if she were not,
of course, he
my
I guess,
daughter.
and his version of saying I own this golf course is doing donuts on a green too. I guess so. We could agree.
If you own it, you can do what you want to it, but there will be repercussions if there are people.
If you own it, you can do whatever you
on it.
You sound like you're a slave owner when you say that. If you own it, you can do whatever you want to it. What does that mean? I don't. I don't want to even go back to this, but I totally don't understand your take on this. If you own a golf course, you can destroy it anytime you want.
Right.
This isn't your car we're talking about here because there are actually thousands
of course,
and thousands
and again,
of people. Hold on.
You'll lose revenue from
there
the people
are thousands. It's not just about
being a member of your course.
It's not just about revenue.
It is.
There are no, it's not.
You own things to make money off them.
Okay,
typically, Brian.
you're talking about just from Trump's perspective, a very selfish perspective.
If you have a golf course,
oh boy, here we go again.
That people pay to play, you're trying to make money off that golf course.
And
this is not communist China. This is the United States. This is capitalism.
Let's not care. Hold on. Let's not care about all the members that play there that enjoy the course.
I didn't say let's not care.
Well, that's what you're saying.
No,
you're
said,
not bringing up the members.
I said you can do what you. No, I've said the members.
Stein, will you help me
I said
here?
the members will leave. They'll probably leave if you decide to do.
So that makes
cookies.
it okay.
This has been an ongoing debate between Brian and JD.
It's very simple.
What it really started with was what the story was that President Trump has played a lot of golf, contrary to what he said before he took office, which is I'll never play golf. I'll be in the White House all the time working my ass off. But he's played a lot of golf, and someone did crunch the numbers and realized that, wow, he's played more golf than Obama played in 8 years in the only 3 years that he's been in office, and it's costing the taxpayers millions and millions and millions of dollars because the Secret Service has travel and so forth. But somehow that devolved into a conversation about Donald Trump taking his golf cart on the green, which I guess is a breach of etiquette, and JD
just a tad.
And
clearly is a huge issue
defending
with
it, saying he can do whatever he wants. It's his course.
All right. Well, we'll take some phone calls on this. I'm curious. I'm curious. I really am curious.
By the way, also Stein, he has been double dipping. His Secret Service agents have been paying his golf course and his hotels and staying there, so he's actually making money off of the taxpayers.
Do you have? Okay, so let me ask this to the listeners out there,
which I think is smart.
Do you have a problem with Donald Trump spending $115 million playing golf in 3 years
and pocketing probably 40 of it?
Yeah. Do you have a problem with that? Do you have a problem with Donald Trump with no golf etiquette at all? JD seems to think if you own a golf course, you can drive your cart right up to the fringe because, Donald Trump's so old and fat and disgusting, he can't walk 10 feet, which is not true. Well, everything but the walking part. Everything else I said is true. He is disgusting.
And he cheats at golf too, right?
And he cheats at golf. And do you also think that the way you play golf...
One source says he cheats.
The way you play golf is indicative of the way you live your life. What do you think about ownership and property? If you own a golf course, should that give you the right to drive on putting greens and to ruin your golf course. The number to call is 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Want to get your thoughts on that? Why don't we take a quick break? We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
So what would you do with an extra $500 a month in your budget? $500. This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This is something you may need to think about very soon if you decide to become a member of MediShare. MediShare is a way to pay for your health care, and typically it costs $500 less per month for a family versus other healthcare plans. So seriously, think about this. You could pay off loans, pay down a mortgage, save the money for retirement, donate to charity. That would be a big deal. But you know what? Here's the best thing. MediShare works. It's a Christian healthcare sharing ministry with 400,000 members. They've shared over $2 billion in medical bills, so they can help share your needs too. And with MediShare, not only do you save, you don't have to pay for things you don't believe in. And that's a beautiful thing too. So here's how you can find out more, and you might actually wind up saving even more than $500 a month. So check into it. 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. 844-91-BIBLE.
Hi, it's Matt Ray with America's First News, heard right here on 101.5 FM and 720 AM KDAWN. Start your day in the know. From Washington to Wall Street and covering the world, we've got you covered with the latest news, commentary, and analysis. Everything but the cup of coffee. America's First News, weekday mornings, 2 to 6 a.m. right here on 101.5 FM and 720 AM KDAWN, the talk of Las Vegas.
SportsX Radio Nation, what's up? It's Ken Thompson, host of SportsX Radio, reminding you to catch me at my new time, 8 to 10 p.m. for all the local Vegas sports coverage, plus the national scene as well. That's SportsX Radio on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
Hi, Doug Basham here. Join me Saturday afternoons from 2 to 4, and I'll tell you what your conservative, corporate-controlled, right-wing propaganda hate media isn't. You're welcome. That's Saturday afternoons, 2 to 4. Be there.
The jobs of the future will be heavily geared towards science, technology, engineering, and math. In other words, the future is STEM. So if you're a middle school student, talk to your school counselor about STEM. A public service message from America's Navy.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Morse, the Executive Director of the Josh Stevens Foundation, born out of the heart of a young boy, Josh Stevens, who passed away in a tragic accident a month before his 13th birthday. The Josh Stevens Foundation is now spreading kindness on school campuses in more than 12 states and 350 schools. Help us to spread kindness with the Josh Stevens Foundation. You can do this by signing up to volunteer through our website, purchasing one of our Be Kind shirts through our online store, or encourage your school to join our Be Kind program and become a Be Kind school at joshstevensfoundation.org. We'd love to hear from you and appreciate all of you continuing to spread kindness throughout our community.
I'm Tony Elliott with the Nevada Department of Transportation. If you're looking for up-to-date road and construction information, be sure to visit our website, nevadadot.com.
Sean Hannity, weekdays noon to 3 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDAWN.
I love golf. I think it's one of the greats.
There you go, the words of Donald Trump himself.
I love golf. Golf.
He loves golf. He's not very good at golf.
You don't know that.
But no, I do. He has a handicap. He's not very good. Well, he has a lot of handicap. I think he has a mental handicap. But anyway, we're talking about Donald Trump and, you know, the fact that JD seems to think that if you own the golf course, you can damage the golf course and drive your cart up to greens and not abide by the rules. And that's perfectly okay if you're the owner of the golf course and not worry about any of the members or anything like that. That's fine.
I did not say not worry about the members, but if you own it, you can do what you want to it. Obviously, there will be repercussions for the 9th time, Brian.
No, you're okay with it, though. You're okay with him doing that. You're okay with that behavior.
I didn't say I was okay with it ever.
It sounds like you're okay with it.
I just said you
You're
can do it.
defending
If you own it, you can do it. It's yours. You own it.
You're defending that behavior, though.
There are very, very few legal ramifications unless there's something specifically in some type of contract.
Well, I also personally believe, and I'll say it again, and then we'll take some phone calls. I personally believe the way you conduct yourself on a golf course is probably the way that you conduct yourself in life. Donald Trump cheats on the golf course, and he doesn't abide by the rules of etiquette on a golf course. You would say that Donald Trump cheats in real life. Certainly with his spouses, he cheats, and with his taxes. So I
okay,
think,
well, let's talk about me. When I'm on the course and I lose a ball, on a hole,
Mhm.
I stop. I don't put another ball out there. I don't try to.
Well, I think that's because at times you're extremely lazy.
No, because I'm not that good at golf, and I know that. And,
no.
I don't like to waste the time. If I'm going to force someone, say it's me, you, Larry, you, Stacy, and a coach from San Jose State, right? And I lose balls on 3 of 9 holes or 3 of 5 holes. Once I lose that ball, I don't want to hold up the game, so I stop. So I say I'm done with this hole. I'm on to the next one. How does that reflect my personal life, Brian?
I just told you. I think at times you're a little.
That's not lazy. It's actually It's actually very, very respectful of everybody else and their game.
You just don't look for your golf ball. You could still try to look for your golf ball
I
while others finish the hole.
I definitely look for it, but
Okay. Well, I've seen you not do that.
Well, a couple of times, yeah. But if it's in the water, say I hit it into the water, I don't drop. I just stop.
I think that just means your life is all over the place, just like your tee shots. They're all over the place. That's what I think. All right, let's take some calls.
I'm not going to hold up the game so I can find my ball so I can lose it again.
All right. I don't want to talk about your golf habits. I'm just more.
So it only applies to Trump.
Donald Trump. No, I gave you my answer. I gave you my answer of what I think it means. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. And the question we are asking you: if you own a golf course, should that mean you should? It's okay for you to destroy it. 257-5396. In this case, Donald Trump. Let's go to Carl. Carl, what's going on?
What's up, Carl?
Hi, guys. JD, Brian. Listen, earlier JD said if you own a car, and I heard him, you can set it on fire. Well, number one, you'd be arrested for arson. Number two, the cost to the fire department from either county or city would be assessed to you the thousands of dollars it costs on a fraudulent call.
That's true.
So go ahead and set your car on fire.
Hey, I got to say, Carl makes a very valid point, JD. Would you like to respond to that? Go ahead, JD. Respond.
Well, yeah, if you want to set your car on fire, you can set your car on fire. Will you have ramifications and repercussions? Yes, you just described them.
It's against the law.
Okay. But you own the car.
But it's against the law.
That's fine.
Carl's trying to say it's against the law. And you would cost the fire department money, and you would members on a golf course when Trump decides
Do you think that Trump driving his golf cart onto a green of a course that he owns is against the law, Brian?
I don't
or
think that.
Carl, either can answer.
Go ahead, Carl.
It's not against the law.
Exactly.
It shows what kind of a person he is.
Right. Yes.
And by the way, you're saying about what he does on a golf course reflects in his life. Well, psychologically, let me give you a point. Cheating on one point, whether it's golf, goes to cheating in business, in politics, and everything else. That's his psyche. His psyche is to cheat and to steal and to get away with what he can.
So it sounds like to me that psychologists don't even need to be alive. All we need to have is we need to have a psychologist or a psychiatrist go with someone on the golf course, watch them play for 9 holes, and then all those appointments aren't even necessary.
No, that doesn't make sense. If he's cheating in one aspect of life, he psychologically will cheat in every aspect of life. That's what Brian said, and that's true.
Yes. Thank you for the call, Carl, and your
Good call,
comments.
Carl.
Yeah, I stand by what I said. I believe that your behavior and the way you listen, I'm not a saint on the golf course. I'll tell you one thing I've never done on a golf course before is cheat. Never.
I actually saw you throw a club one time.
I did.
At was it Hills or Trail?
Spanish Trail.
Spanish Trail.
Yep.
And your club hit a rock.
Sure.
And it hit the rock, and then it actually fell into a creek.
And I own up to that. You know what that means about me? And I would agree. I am extremely competitive. I am a sore loser. I don't like to lose. I am very competitive.
Are you a loose cannon?
And I have a temper when it comes to competitive situations. That is absolutely true. But one thing I never do, and one thing you've never seen me do, is take a mulligan, cheat, or throw a ball somewhere. I play my golf.
Mulligan isn't cheating.
Yes, it is.
If you have an agreement to take one mulligan around, it's not cheating.
Well, I'll tell you what taking a mulligan means. Well, we're going to forget about that first shot I had. Do they do that on the PGA Tour? When you're playing for money, hey, you know what? Let's not count that one. No, that's cheating. That's exactly what it is. Now, if people want to do that and they just want to have fun.
You're also an extremely good golfer.
No, but
golf, you're one of the best golfers that people are going to meet.
Golf is about
You're better than 99.5% of golfers.
Golf is about competing with yourself and competing with the golf course. And when you take out another ball and do what Donald Trump does allegedly on the golf course, you're cheating.
Can we play some music from Bagger Vance, please?
No, we don't need that. We don't need that music. No, we've played enough circus music today for one day. That's for sure. No, I mean, I stand by with what I said.
I'm just going to call you Bobby Juna from now on. Is that all right with you?
I believe that if you have to play through 8 or 9 different people in a round, that shows you're an extremely impatient person, obviously. If you're someone that screams on the golf course, yells, is boisterous, it means you're a very inconsiderate person because you're not thinking about others on the golf course, and you're probably an inconsiderate person personal life. And yes, if you cheat on the golf course, I believe you probably cheat in life, and in this case, business. That's the beauty of golf. You know, there's really not a lot of police out there watching you. You're right. Yeah, you're probably playing with friends or something, but there's nobody that's going to tell you, no, you can't do that unless you're playing for money, right? Unless you're playing for something. But yeah, I've always felt that way. It's something weird about the game of golf that I've always felt like, you know, how you conduct yourself is exactly probably how you lived your life. And Donald Trump is a cheater. He doesn't abide by the rules of etiquette on a golf course, hence driving your golf cart right up to a green. And he doesn't abide by etiquette in real life. And he's a cheater. You know, what woman in his life has he ever been faithful to? Right? What woman? Give me one woman he's been faithful to. He certainly hasn't been faithful to Melania. He hasn't been faithful to his past relationships. He's not an honorable guy.
He's had how many marriages? 3?
Yeah.
He's 73 years old. I mean, that's really not that many. There's been guys with way more marriages than 3.
Okay, but even if you have one marriage or a girlfriend or whatever, and you cheat, it's wrong.
And the average marriage has lasted what? Except the second one didn't last very long.
So
the first one was
you're defending
15
Donald
to 18
Trump.
years. You haven't been married.
You're defending
marriage
Donald
is a
Trump.
whole different animal, Brian.
So you're defending men who cheat on their wives.
It is a very, very interesting place to be.
So you're now defending men who cheat on their wives.
I am just saying that he was married for an extended period of time with each wife, and he had children with each wife.
Well, I'll tell you something about my parents.
And there are men that have been much, much more, or have committed many more incidents of infidelity than Donald Trump
Well,
has.
I can tell you one thing right now. My father never cheated on my mother, and they've been married for close to 50 years.
And that's great for him. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, you know, and my dad is also an honorable golfer. He doesn't cheat on the golf course either, and he doesn't cheat on my mother. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I have a feeling this conversation will continue, but hey, the House Intel Committee just released an impeachment report. We will be talking about that tomorrow. We also have Stretch Williams that will be in studio tomorrow, 10 to 11 a.m. He's going to be shutting down Fremont Street on MLK. We'll explain why tomorrow as well. And also, Tim Donahue will be joining us as well. So we'll take a 21-hour break, and we will be back at it tomorrow, folks. Have a great day.
Kilmeade, Hannity, Levin, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Intel Committee report. Hunter pleads guilty. I'm Mike Moss. With the House Judiciary Committee